Chapter 1423, God Runes. Chapter 1423, God Runes. Lin Ming hadn't thought that Empyrean Divine Dream had been to the Azura Road too. 9 years ago, when Dragon Fang went to the Azura Road, that likely meant that his master, the 3 lives old man, had also been there. It seemed that the Azura Road was a smelting trial destination that wasn't a secret to the high-level figures of the divine realm. As for the average person, they had likely never heard about it because they simply weren't able to come into contact with it. Empyrean Divine Dream said, "The Azura Road is filled with countless dangers. It's a land that possesses all the various races of the 33-layered heavens because it is an unordered world to begin with. It is common for murder to casually take place on the streets and it is extremely chaotic. However, this still isn't the main source of danger. Millimeter. These dangers are," Lin Ming's thoughts stirred. Oftentimes upon entering a mystic realm of the divine realm, the true dangers didn't originate from the mystic realm itself but the other treasure hunters that were participating. In a world without rules and restrictions like a mystic realm, killing others and stealing away all of their property was common. Divine Dream said, "If you go to the Azura Road, you may encounter dangers from the rules that exist there, and there will be things that occur which you never imagined possible. Or, you may even run into enemies that far surpass your boundary. At that time, no matter how talented you are, you will still be defeated. All of this is something you must clearly understand before you enter the Azura Road, especially if you venture into its depths." Lin Ming quietly nodded. No matter what, if Dragon Fang was able to go, then there shouldn't be any problem for him. As for areas deeper in the Azura Road, that was something he had to consider. Senior Divine Dream, can you tell this junior what sort of world the Azura Road is? Empyrean Divine Dream had spoken a great deal about the Azura Road, but she hadn't truly described it. Empyrean Divine Dream took a light breath, contemplating for a moment before saying, "The Azura Road is an independent world that is completely sealed off. In terms of area, it is around half the size of the smallest of the divine realm's 3,000 great worlds. Even so, that means it is extremely broad. In the past, I also didn't go into the deepest parts of the Azura Road. Rather, as I was exploring the middle of the Azura Road, I found a mysterious transmission talisman that allowed me to go to Soul World. Afterwards, I went to Soul World because I believed at the time that there would be great lucky chances there that concerned my future. This is likely something that you already know." As Empyrean Divine Dream spoke, Lin Ming suddenly realized what had happened. He had thought it was strange. If it was so difficult for powerful martial artists to pass through the God-lamenting wall, just how had Empyrean Divine Dream gone to Soul World? "So, one can enter any of the 33-layered heavens from the Azura Road?" Empyrean Divine Dream said, "That's right. But, there are many trial challenges and returning to your own universe is the easiest. However, when I say easiest, that is only relatively speaking. The deeper you venture into the Azura Road, the more difficult it will be to return. There are many people that become stuck in the Azura Road for their entire lives and are unable to leave. In my opinion, I feel that the Azura Road is a massive trial field created by a divine being. In that world, there are many ways in which you can obtain a mysterious and unique strength of the Azura Road, the God Runes. These runes are granted to you by the heavenly Tao laws of the Azura Road and they hold endless enigmas. They are similar to inscription techniques, body inscription symbols and soul inscription symbols, but they are far more profound. There is almost no comparing them." Millimeter. Lin Ming was stunned. In inscription technique, there were body inscription symbols that could increase a martial artist's strength and soul inscription symbols that could increase a martial artist's soul force. However, perhaps because of the Great Calamity 3.6 billion years ago and all the lost inheritances, or perhaps because the heavenly Tao laws were like this to begin with, the further a martial artist's cultivation progressed, the smaller the effects would be. This was because a martial artist's own strength was far too strong, and the ability for even the highest level of inscription techniques to increase one's strength was far too limited. Empyrean Divine Dream continued to say, "These various God runes have all sorts of incomparably exquisite laws. The runes are similar to the law fragments that you experienced during your ninefall. They can be directly fused into your flesh and blood, bones, inner world, and even your soul. Their use is not only to be perceived, but also act as a direct method of strengthening yourself. For instance, you can use them to enhance your physical strength, defensive power, true essence thickness, striking power, and so forth. There are even some that can give you bloodline powers. There are even those you can perceive that will allow you to comprehend much more powerful attacks. In the Azura Road, God runes will be a part of your strength, an extremely important part. You may be rewarded with God runes by completing various missions of the Heavenly Tao, or you may even exchange or purchase them. Sometimes, if your destiny and lucky chances are wonderful enough, you may also obtain rare God runes. Of course, there remains the most simple and direct way of obtaining God runes, and that is to take them from others. There are some God runes that you can take for yourself as long as you kill the other party. This is also the reason why slaughter is common in the Azura Road. Everyone wants to kill others in order to obtain their God runes. In particular, if an extremely rare God rune was to appear in the world, it might start a horrible storm of blood and mayhem. Empyrean Divine Dream slowly said. Lin Ming was shocked after hearing this. He felt that this new world completely subverted all rules he knew of. Why would the Azura Road have such strange heavenly Tao laws? Could it be like Divine Dream had said, and the Azura Road was created by some senior supreme elder with an unimaginably high level of cultivation? And why had he created the Azura Road? Was it to help temper geniuses? From how it was described, the heavenly Tao rules of the Azura Road encouraged slaughter, urging people to kill others for their God runes. This was a much more convenient method than obtaining runes through completing different tasks. But there was something else that Lin Ming didn't understand. Senior Divine Dream, this junior has another question. Do these runes require the special heavenly Tao rules of the Azura Road in order to function? Will they be unusable after leaving the Azura Road? Lin Ming hadn't seen Dragon Fang use the power of any God runes, nor had he heard of anyone in the divine realm who increased their own strength using God runes. If the God runes from the Azura Road were tremendously useful in enhancing one's abilities even outside of that world, then there would definitely be some rumors. Divine Dream nodded. Yes. After leaving the Azura Road, all God runes you possess will disappear. Then why do people compete for God runes in the Azura Road? Even if their flesh and blood, organs, and even their souls are marked by these runes, they are still nothing more than illusions that will disappear as long as they leave the Azura Road. Do these people plan on never leaving the Azura Road in their entire lives? Empyrean Divine Dream said, your question is well thought out. Indeed, many people have never and will never leave the Azura Road in their entire lives. The Azura Road has existed for countless hundreds of millions of years. That world might be 10 billion years old or even 100 billion years old, or possibly even older than that. It is far more ancient than our divine realm's history. In that world, there seem to be people who existed there to begin with. Moreover, after all of these years, an incalculable number of trial challengers have entered the Azura Road. There are some people that aren't considered to be too talented, and thus after entering the Azura Road they cannot leave. They will get married and start their own livelihoods in the Azura Road. Perhaps they would start their own clan, or perhaps they would found their own sect. Their lineage will continue for generations, forever staying there. To these people, the Azura Road is their world, and the runes there are an incomparably precious strength. In addition to that, to the trial challengers from the outside, the God runes are also extremely valuable. I have told you that Azura Road is a massive trial field. After you satisfy certain requirements of the trials, you will complete them and obtain generous rewards depending on the degree of completion. One type of reward is the power to completely or partially fuse these runes into your body and soul. Even after you leave the Azura Road, this strength will be internalized by you and turned into your true strength. Millimeter? There is also something like that. Lin Ming was stunned. These laws were indeed extremely mysterious. However, as he thought more about it, when Lin Ming was on the Holy Demon Continent's blood slaughter steps, the Road of Emperor and the 12-winged heavenly demon tattoo were also similar. This was because Empyrean Primordius, who had created the Road of Emperor as well as the 12 sky-split towers, was simply far more powerful than the mortals that participated in his trials. He was so much more powerful than them that he was able to create his own rules and directly grant strength as the rewards to certain martial artists. The 12-winged heavenly demon tattoo and the Azura Road's god runes were in truth similar things. If this were true, and the Azura Road were created by someone, then this mysterious person was countless times more powerful than Empyrean Primordius. If this person was a martial artist, just what boundary would they have reached? Extreme true divinity? Or, perhaps the mysterious entity described in folktales that created everything, the creator of the world? Chapter 1424, Transmission Accident. Chapter 1424, Transmission Accident. A pale white spirit ship rapidly flew through the endless void of the universe. This spirit ship was carved from crystalline stone and was only several hundred feet long. Compared to the massive spirit ships that were thousands or tens of thousands of feet long, this spirit ship was extremely small and delicate. However, its value was hundreds of times greater than those giant spirit ships because its speed was simply not something that those giant spirit ships could hope to compare with. Even the Primordius Heavenly Palace that Lin Ming possessed couldn't hold a candle to this tiny crystal spirit ship in terms of speed. This wasn't because Primordius Heavenly Palace was lacking in value, but because Primordius Heavenly Palace was a dwelling that mainly focused on defensive protections. Acting as a spirit ship was only an auxiliary function. We've arrived. Empyrean Divine Dream's voice faintly echoed through the spirit ship. In just several days of time, she had brought Lin Ming aboard this crystal spirit ship and had crossed several great worlds of the divine realm before arriving at a chaotic nebula. This is the entrance to the Azura Road? It can be considered so. Empyrean Divine Dream nodded. Rather, it is more accurate to say that the entrance existed here a long time ago. It was said that due to the Great Calamity 6 billion years ago, many entrances leading from the Divine Dream to the Azura Road were destroyed. The ones I know of that are remaining are nothing more than ancient ruins. Normally, it is impossible to enter the Azura Road using this location, but I can rely upon my cultivation to forcefully sunder open the void and form a transmission channel to let you through. After you enter this transmission channel, a unique serial number will be implanted into your body. This number will follow you through every smelting trial that you complete within the Azura Road, and it will only vanish when you leave or upon your death. This number will also become the only marking from which the Azura Road's heavenly Tao rule will recognize you. I understand. Then, when Dragon Fang entered the Azura Road in the past, was it also 3 lives old man that helped him open a portal? Yes. Within the entire divine realm there aren't many people that can open a portal like this. There are probably around 20 to 30 people that can. Although 3 lives old man is nearing the end of his lifespan, he still remains horrifyingly powerful. He is the most senior person in the entire divine realm. 280 million years ago, he had already become an extreme Empyrean. Lin Ming said, if so, then aren't the conditions for opening the transmission channel to the Azura Road too high? There shouldn't have been many young geniuses that were able to enter the Azura Road in these past years to temper themselves. Millimeter, indeed, there haven't been many at all. Empyrean Divine Dream nodded. Not entering the Azura Road isn't necessarily a disadvantage. Even extreme geniuses have a chance of perishing within the Azura Road. In addition, besides having an Empyrean open a portal to allow martial artists to enter the Azura Road, there is also another method. Before the last great calamity, there were many Azura commands that existed in the divine realm. If you can find an Azura command, then there is no need for you to take a transmission channel. You can rely upon that Azura command to directly enter the Azura Road. Moreover, this Azura command is also a necessary item to leave the Azura Road and return to the divine realm. Azura command? Lin Ming's mind stirred. It seemed that if he couldn't complete the smelting trials of the Azura Road, the only way he would be able to leave was to find an Azura command. All right. Lin Ming, I shall send you there now. Let me give you a word of caution, do not try to thoroughly complete the trials of the Azura Road. The difficulties of these trials are too great, far too great. If you can complete a part of it and obtain just a portion of the rewards, that alone is already rare. You should take safety into consideration before you do anything. As long as there is life, there will be hope, and you should value your life as the most precious treasure. Divine Dream earnestly warned Lin Ming. Lin Ming nodded, I understand. Millimeter, also, I want to speak to you about that 100-year duel you have decided on with the good fortune Saint Sun. I know that you did so in order to intentionally place pressure on yourself to grow, but just because there is pressure on you doesn't mean that you will succeed. What I want to say is that if that time truly comes and you are certain that it is impossible for you to defeat the good fortune Saint Sun, I possess a last resort. I can unbind your heart demon oath, but there will be a high price to pay. Lin Ming's heart skipped a beat as he heard Empyrean Divine Dream casually speaking. Pay a price to unbind his heart demon oath. His heart demon oath was especially formed by a transcendent divine might used to form contracts. The most terrifying aspect was that it used a martial artist's heart demons. Everyone had heart demons, and the higher a martial artist's cultivation was, the more powerful their heart demons were. Thus, whether it was young heroic elites, holy lords, world kings, or empyreans, all of them could be bound by heart demon oaths. Even true divinities feared their own heart demons. If someone tried to unbind the heart demon oath of another, they would be forced to endure a counterattack of their own heart demons. Now, Empyrean Divine Dream had said that she had a last resort she could use to help Lin Ming resolve his heart demon oath. There had to be a price paid, but as for what this price was, he had no idea. Lin Ming knew that even if Empyrean Divine Dream had astonishing attainments in the domain of the soul, and she also comprehended heart demons to a high degree, this price couldn't be light at all. Such a promise was an extremely heavy graciousness to Lin Ming. After all, in the eyes of nearly all high-level figures in the divine realm, although Lin Ming was talented, it was almost the idiotic babblings of a retard to think that he could overtake the realm and a half advantage that the good fortune Saint Sun had over him in a mere 100 years. Senior Divine Dream, this junior will carve this graciousness in his mind. 100 years from now, I will not disappoint you. Lin Ming grit his teeth. He had to squeeze out every single drop of his potential. There was no path of retreat for him. Millimeter, you have never done anything you don't have confidence in. I hope that this time is the same. As Divine Dream spoke, she extended her right hand. Because of the movements of her arm, a beautiful, white pure arm as smooth as jade stretched out from her long white sleeve. This arm seemed supple and flexible, but it contained an incomparably terrifying power. With just a tiny tap, the void shattered like a frail ice crystal, completely disintegrating. Ka. This crack spread out like a growing spider web. In just an instant, it covered the heavens, blotting out the world. Step back a little. Empyrean Divine Dream faintly said. Lin Ming quickly flew back to the spirit ship. Empyrean Divine Dream rapidly moved her fingers, forming a series of seals. The entire area began to spin around, forming a giant vortex in space. Endless heaven and earth origin energy began rolling up towards this vortex, swept up into it. Empyrean Divine Dream had actually forcefully created a black hole vortex. This sort of action left Lin Ming shocked. With the slightest of gestures, Empyrean Divine Dream had broken apart all space for 100 miles and forcefully opened up a spatial transmission channel. This was the power of the most extreme Empyrean. You may enter now. I have already reformed the space channel. Through this channel you can directly enter the Azura Road. Also, this space channel is limited by certain rules. Only you alone are allowed to pass through. It is impossible for you to bring along incarnations of powerhouses, otherwise I could have produced several of them to help protect you in critical moments. Oh, what happens if I violate these rules? Lin Ming suddenly asked. Not much. You will be shot back out with some minor injuries, but you can re-enter afterwards. I see, Lin Ming nodded. Then Senior Divine Dream, this junior will be on his way. As Lin Ming spoke, he took a deep breath and then turned into a beam of light as he dove into that black hole vortex. The moment he entered that black hole vortex, Lin Ming felt a massive resistance. This resistance began to rapidly increase. In just the blink of an eye, it became an overwhelming momentum that formed an impregnable iron wall, rushing towards Lin Ming. Millimeter? Lin Ming was startled. Before he could respond, he was struck by this horrifying strength. He was slapped backwards as if he were struck by a mountain. Whoosh! Lin Ming flew out from the black hole at an even faster speed than he entered. The terrifying strike of energy caused Lin Ming to feel as if all his bones almost shattered. A coppery rush swelled up his throat as he spat out a mouthful of blood and nearly fainted where he was. What happened? Lin Ming's entire body was in severe pain. The energy within him was restlessly moving and his organs felt discombobulated. Before he entered the Azura Road transmission channel, he had asked Divine Dream what would happen if he violated the rules. If the punishment were to be exterminated like a rabid dog, then that sort of death would be far too unjust. Afterwards, Empyrean Divine Dream had said that the punishment wasn't too great, so Lin Ming didn't mind much after that. Or, to be more accurate, he didn't think that the Azura Road would recognize that he violated these rules. However, Lin Ming had indeed violated the rules. Within the magic cube space there were two people. One was Mo Eversnow and the other was the gluttonous and sleep-loving Fishy. In Lin Ming's opinion, the magic cube was an existence that surpassed the scope of the heavenly Tao laws. It was impossible for anyone to see the magic cube that was deeply slumbering within his body. In the past, Lin Ming had encountered various mystic realms which also had various restrictions when crossing into them, but none of them were able to block the magic cube. This was the same when Lin Ming returned to the Sky Spill continent. The Sky Spill planet had the protective enchantment of Empyrean Primordius, making it so that no non-native martial artists with a cultivation above the Divine Sea Realm could enter. But this hadn't been able to stop the magic cube. Only today had he ever encountered problems. This was something that Lin Ming never imagined possible. This Azura Road was far too strange. Even the magic cube was unable to skirt around its rules. Lin Ming, you, Empyrean Divine Dream looked at Lin Ming, puzzled. Do you have an incarnation jade slip on your body? Was it given to you by one of Mount Potala's eminent monks? Lin Ming ruefully smiled. He certainly didn't have an incarnation jade slip on his body to explain his current predicament. If he couldn't bring Fishy and Mo Eversnow with him, then he would need to explain this to Empyrean Divine Dream. Empyrean Divine Dream had helped him far too many times. At Demon Dawn World, she had also saved his life. Lin Ming's emotional and mental inhibitions towards Divine Dream had fallen to the lowest limit. Lin Ming hesitated for a moment and then truthfully said, "It isn't an incarnation jade slip. On this junior's body is. Senior, please take a look." As Lin Ming spoke, his thoughts moved and both Mo Eversnow and Fishy were teleported out from the magic cube space. Although Mo Eversnow was residing in the magic cube space, she also had an approximate understanding of what was happening. She looked towards Lin Ming and also looked towards Empyrean Divine Dream. This sort of situation was completely beyond her realm of expectations. With everything happening so suddenly, she was a bit embarrassed and also a bit cautious, although she knew there was no point keeping her guard up in front of Empyrean Divine Dream. As for Fishy, she rubbed her large and sleepy eyes. She looked around, her eyes blurry, like she didn't know what was happening. As Empyrean Divine Dream saw Mo Eversnow and Fishy suddenly appear, she was shocked. Hiding within Lin Ming's body were two women, and from beginning to end, she had never seen through it. Chapter 1425, Parting Ways. Chapter 1425, Parting Ways. You, Divine Dream looked at Mo Eversnow and Fishy. At this time, Fishy's eyes were extremely large and she looked at Divine Dream with a dazed expression. She was used to staying and sleeping in the magic cube space, so the sudden change in scenery had left her extremely confused. This pretty big sister is. Fishy hadn't seen anyone besides Lin Ming and Mo Eversnow in 10 years. During this period, she had been sleeping for 99% of the time. Fishy, don't be rude. This is Senior Divine Dream, not your big sister. Lin Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he heard how Fishy referred to Divine Dream. She had actually called Divine Dream her big sister, however, Fishy's true age was actually a mystery. Lin Ming had once asked Fishy about her age, but Fishy was hazy on this subject. She didn't understand the concept of time, and what left one the most speechless was that Fishy would often dig deep into the ground to sleep. She had no idea just how long she had slept for during these periods. Short periods would be several months and long periods would be a few years. In fact, if one truly calculated the ages of the 4 people present, Lin Ming was probably the youngest. As Lin Ming realized this point, he traced his nose, a strange feeling swelling up in his heart. This tiny little child Fishy was actually much older than he was. Divine Dream couldn't imagine that even with her extreme Empyrean cultivation she still hadn't been able to sense the aura of these 2 people. It seemed that there were far more secrets on Lin Ming than she had thought, and these secrets far surpassed most others. Thinking of this, Divine Dream didn't probe further, nor did she ask what Lin Ming's secrets were. At this time, she suddenly discovered that these 2 women who had come from within Lin Ming's inner world were far from ordinary. She deeply stared at Mo Eversnow. A blurry phantom crossed her mind, but in that instant, this phantom became crystal clear, overlapping with the Mo Eversnow in front of her. Suddenly, an incredulous light flashed in Empyrean Divine Dream's eyes. "You are Heavenly Empress Shenqing." "That is impossible, you have already." Divine Dream continued to look at Mo Eversnow and then came to a realization. "You are not Heavenly Empress Shenqing, but that mortal body is truly that of Heavenly Empress Shenqing. The bloodline aura of the god race is something that my divine sense will not misidentify." Empyrean Divine Dream was able to see through the mysteries of Mo Eversnow's body. But, as she turned her eyes towards Fish's physique was actually a mystery to her, like a dense fog. Even with Divine Dream's extreme Empyrean cultivation, she still found it difficult to tell what was happening. A coalescence energy body? Such a physique is possible. Although Empyrean Divine Dream wasn't able to discern who Fishy was, she could still thoroughly see through Fish's body. In her eyes, this was the perfect spirit body. How could such a body exist in this world? The sudden appearance of these 2 women had left Empyrean Divine Dream far too surprised. They had hidden themselves within Lin Ming's inner world and hadn't revealed the slightest hint of their aura. This point alone was already astonishing to Empyrean Divine Dream. Fish's physique shouldn't exist. Lin Ming looked at Empyrean Divine Dream. Those words just now had caught his attention. Empyrean Divine Dream let out a light breath. Yes, this sort of body is a perfect energy body, and also the most sublime spirit body. For us martial artists, no matter how thorough our 9 stages of life destruction are, the spirit body we form is still composed of flesh and blood. At most, our bodies are tempered by energy to the limit, allowing us to hold a tremendous amount of energy in our bodies. But this little girl's entire body is composed of perfect energy. She is an energy life form. If she were to cultivate the essence gathering system, the boundary she could reach would be unfathomable. It is hard to imagine just how talented she would be in that aspect. Of course, she cannot dual cultivate body and energy and can only cultivate energy alone. Even so, just by walking down the road of the essence gathering system, she can still become divine. Lin Ming looked at Fishy with incredible disbelief as Empyrean Divine Dream said this. If Empyrean Divine Dream could place such praise on Fishy, then Fish's talent was truly extraordinary. Still, what was strange was that even now, she had never cultivated before. It seemed as if she was completely unable to move the energy that was within her body. "Lin Ming, what is happening here?" Lin Ming explained the process of how he met Fishy as well as how he helped Mo Eversnow possess the body of the goddess, concealing the least he could. He also told Empyrean Divine Dream about Fish's secret ability to eat violet sun crystals and even 9 sun jades. After Empyrean Divine Dream listened to this, she fell into silence for a long period of time, as if she were thinking about something. Lin Ming didn't disturb her. He silently waited at the side. Mo Eversnow looked at Lin Ming, a tinge of worry in her expression. Mo Eversnow knew just how strong Divine Dream was. After such a situation occurred, although Lin Ming's secrets hadn't been fully revealed, it was about the same. If Divine Dream truly wished to plunder anything from Lin Ming, she could do so easily. Lin Ming returned an at-ease expression to Mo Eversnow. He said with a sound transmission, "Senior apprentice sister, feel relieved that if Empyrean Divine Dream wanted to explore what my secrets were, she would have already done so. I simply wouldn't be able to conceal it. Moreover, Empyrean Divine Dream has even given me life-saving grace before. In fact, I even thought that if I can truly grasp the power of the magic cube within 100 years and defeat the good fortune Saint Sun, then I could lend the magic cube to Empyrean Divine Dream for several dozen years. I believe that if Empyrean Divine Dream were able to study the magic cube for such a long time, the might she would be able to display with it would be unimaginable. You and I would both benefit from that. Lin Ming had made this decision after careful consideration. Just because Divine Dream didn't probe Lin Ming's secrets didn't mean that she wouldn't be tempted by the magic cube. However, in this great calamity, when facing the much stronger saint race, humanity had to work together and unite as one in order to overcome this hurdle. Millimeter, Mo Eversnow nodded. I'll follow your lead. Thank you, senior apprentice sister. Lin Ming smiled as he spoke. This smile came from the depths of his heart. Mo Eversnow was already the most important partner in his life. She was one of the extremely few people that he could trust without reservation. At this time, Empyrean Divine Dream said, the two of them should remain here. Millimeter? Lin Ming was startled. He thought that Empyrean Divine Dream would send Mo Eversnow with him to adventure through the Azura Road. Remaining here will be much more significant for you than entering the Azura Road. You, Empyrean Divine Dream looked at Mo Eversnow. Mo Eversnow bowed. Junior's name is Mo Eversnow. Millimeter, Mo Eversnow. You, although you possess Heavenly Empress Xuanqing's mortal body, you still train in the cultivation methods of the human race. You probably obtained some remnant cultivation methods of the God race, but there are too many flaws. The God race are the favored children of the heavens and they combine all the merits of the three major races. Yet, you chose to only practice the human race's cultivation techniques. That is simply wasting away what was given to you. Mo Eversnow was ecstatic as she heard Empyrean Divine Dream speak. She could already guess what Empyrean Divine Dream wanted to say. In the past, I once left the divine realm and traveled all over, adventuring through the endless lands and even entering an ancient ruin of the God race. If you enter Divine Dream Heavenly Palace, you can study with me. With your background, the boundary you can achieve 100 years from now will be unimaginable. However, if you go to the Azura Road, although that is a good place to temper yourself, it will actually delay your earliest stages of cultivation. That may not necessarily be good for you. Moreover, while the Azura Road has all races from the 33 layered heavens, they actually lack only the God race. The God race is too perfect and its people are forbidden by the heavenly Tao. Even within the Azura Road I fear you will not find the God race. Empyrean Divine Dream looked at Mo Eversnow once more. She asked her, the decision is yours. Mo Eversnow looked at Lin Ming. Lin Ming responded with a true essence sound transmission, senior apprentice sister, please don't worry about me. I will be fine by myself. Millimeter, Mo Eversnow nodded. She believed in Lin Ming. Thus, Mo Eversnow deeply bowed towards Empyrean Divine Dream, saying, I thank Senior for helping me to cultivate. Millimeter. Empyrean Divine Dream smiled with satisfaction. Then she glanced at Fishy. You are called Fishy, right? You can return with me. I heard from Lin Ming that you can eat violet sun crystals and 9 sun jades. Yes. Fishy was naturally shy and timid, but she didn't feel alert towards Empyrean Divine Dream at all. It was like Empyrean Divine Dream released some invisible aura that made everyone around her feel perfectly at ease. Very well then. I have quite a few 9 sun jades and you can eat as many as you want. Empyrean Divine Dream smiled as she spoke. Fishy was overjoyed at hearing this. Really? That's great. Her eyes nearly became the same shape as 9 sun jades. Fishy's natural character was someone who loved to eat and sleep above all else. This was simply who she was. Although Lin Ming could provide her with her favorite foods, he was still a far cry from how wealthy Empyrean Divine Dream was. Fishy's body was like a bottomless pit. No quantity of 9 sun jades seemed to be able to fill her up. At the end, it was actually only Lin Ming that was going in by himself. Mo Eversnow looked at Lin Ming, not knowing what to say for some time. Senior apprentice sister, Fishy, please take care of yourselves. Lin Ming sincerely said. He was fully aware that he would be gone for an unknown number of years. He bowed towards Empyrean Divine Dream once more, then, He turned into a beam of light that submerged into that endless space vortex. Chapter 1426, Might of the Runes. Chapter 1426, Might of the Runes. The grey skies were covered with dark red clouds. The layers of clouds hung low in the skies as if they would start bleeding at any moment. The ground was a vast desert with shattered stones littered throughout. It was an extremely bleak and desolate land. This is the Azura Road? Lin Ming stood in this desert, his eyes closed. The heaven and earth origin energy was extremely fierce and wild. All sorts of different origin energies gathered here, recklessly colliding in chaotic abandon. 4 martial artists that just arrived, even if it was Lin Ming, they would still be unaccustomed to this atmosphere and it would even cause their skills to be impacted. Of course, this could be adapted to with a little bit of training. This is the Azura Road, a separate world. Lin Ming stretched out his finger and gathered the power of space on his fingertip. To his amazement, he discovered that the power of space here was several times more stable than in the divine realm. It was extremely difficult if he wanted to shatter the void here. In fact, it was impossible for him right now. It's hard to imagine that this is really a world created by someone, and yet it is far more stable than a natural true universe. I have no idea just what boundary the person who created this world reached. Lin Ming thought to himself. He had a long future here. Perhaps it would be 10 years or even dozens of years, but this was the land he would be traveling through. His goal was to thoroughly complete the smelting trials available to him. However, according to what Empyrean Divine Dream had said, even if the Azura Road was linked to all of the 33 layered heavens, the people who had managed to do this were incomparably few. Sure. Lin Ming moved forwards a step at a time. A faint rustling sound occurred every time he moved forwards. He cast his sense out in all directions, carefully monitoring his surroundings. He could clearly sense every living creature under the sand and stone. There was a foot-long sand scorpion, its body dark red and its tail utterly venomous, waiting underneath a rock. In the distance, there was a wild desert wolf carefully waiting for prey. After some time, Lin Ming suddenly stopped where he was. He could feel that a faint aura had locked onto him. Lin Ming's mind turned cold. He had just come to the Azura Road and yet he had run into some unexpected visitor. He gently traced his spatial ring. This aura was faint at the start, but it began to strengthen more and more, lingering around him as it became increasingly intense. Jejejej. A newbie appeared. A grating sound echoed out from behind a boulder. Lin Ming coldly watched as 2 men walked out. They were both less than 6 feet tall, their skin was rough and gravelly, and they wore glazed white earrings. Upon further inspection, these earrings weren't some precious stone at all, but rather teeth. These teeth had been polished to an extreme degree, thus they looked like glazed stones. These 2 gazed at Lin Ming as if he were some delectable meal that had just crossed their path. They looked at him from head to toe, licking their lips and laughing. Haha, I haven't seen someone new in such a long time. To see a fresh face here is quite exciting. Lin Ming's expression was indifferent. He calmly took out his phoenix blood spear. In such a desert, killing and robbing someone likely wasn't uncommon at all. Ho, you seem quite brave. Another martial artist looked at Lin Ming's spear with disdain. You're just a small hairless little boy, and yet you're so confident in your own strength. Oh, interesting. Isn't this boy a human? He really is a human. It's rare to see new humans come here. We've been camping at this transmission area for such a long time and we've finally encountered a little dish. Trying to obtain some harvests really isn't easy, ha ha ha. There were hundreds of thousands or even millions of transmission points in the Azura Road. It was impossible to count them all. Some transmission points were even random. They would be in one location for a few months before swapping over to somewhere new. However, there were some experienced bandits that had some unique abilities or methods to search for transmission points. They would camp around these transmission points and especially wait for newbies to enter the Azura Road. The strength of newcomers was normally weaker than most. However, since they would have just entered the Azura Road to adventure, they would often carry a great deal of supplies with them. This was an extremely good effort to reward ratio. After killing one of these newbies, the profits from such an endeavor were extremely high. Of course, If these robbers were to run into some cruel and ruthless people, they would simply avoid them. After all, those people had just entered the Azura Road, so how would they know that the people camping around the area were robbers? Unless they were perverted murderers, why would they randomly start killing? Thus, squatting over a location to wait for newcomers was an extremely safe hunting method. These people were widely known as vultures. As vultures, they had to learn an ability that could quickly and accurately ascertain the cultivation of others. Otherwise, they could easily kick the wall with some mistake. In the Azura Road, quickly discerning the cultivation of others wasn't easy at all. The Azura Road was filled with countless different races. Although every race had to follow one of the three great cultivation systems of essence gathering, body transformation, or soul forging, each race used different cultivation methods to do so. And, these robbers had accumulated a great deal of experience about these various cultivation methods. Now, they could immediately see that Lin Ming's cultivation was lower than both of theirs. They suppressed him in cultivation, and this was also 2 against 1. The two men cruelly laughed as they circled around Lin Ming. Lin Ming's eyes became increasingly cold. "You want to kill me and steal my possessions? Kill you and steal your possessions? Ha ha ha." A man laughed. "What do you think? Essence gathering system, divine transformation realm human, and also a little defenseless boy. Your talent is quite good, but you shouldn't be over 100 years old. Hey! Your mortal body is tempered quite nicely. A dual body and energy cultivator? Killing you would be a pity, but if you want to use that." The two people didn't bother concealing their conversation from Lin Ming. Lin Ming was startled as he heard all of this. These two people were quite skilled in seeing through his cultivation. They weren't humans, but they could actually discern his cultivation realm and even see his dual body and energy cultivation path. As for Lin Ming, he didn't know anything about these two people's cultivation systems at all. It was obvious that these two people cultivated something Lin Ming had never seen before. It was some cultivation method that didn't belong to the humans, saints, or demons, but still had to be one of the 33 different heavenly Taos. Lin Ming could just barely sense their aura to roughly judge their approximate strength and then translate that into human cultivation levels. Alright, but if he cannot be raised well, then it will be a bit of a waste. Those runes are extremely rare. If we sell them, we can trade them for a great deal of good things. It should be possible. We only need to raise him for 3 to 5 years before we can use him. He should make a good slave puppet. If he becomes stronger and we can use him to hunt greater prey, then the price will be worth it. If there's danger, he can also protect the rear. As they two men spoke, Lin Ming was bewildered. What were they speaking about? They wanted to turn him into a slave puppet. At this time, one of these two vultures began to shine. His entire body lit up with a grey light as runes shone around him. Runes! Lin Ming immediately went on complete alert. In the outside world, when Lin Ming fought with his enemies, he had seen countless runes and things similar to runes. Whether they were lore fragments, seals, or even patterns and lines, all of them were similar to these god runes. Towards these runes, Lin Ming never cared too much. When he saw them, he would respond in kind, using his strongest attack in return. But now, as he saw these vultures shine with runes, Lin Ming's guard rose. These were definitely the god runes that Empyrean Divine Dream had spoken about. These god runes only existed in the Azura Road and corresponded to the special heavenly Tao rules here. They possessed an unimaginable strength and were able to strengthen various aspects of a martial artist. After locking his sense onto these runes, Lin Ming could feel a vast and mystical aura from them. These runes were like spirit gods dancing in the air. The runes of an ordinary martial artist were controlled by the martial artist themselves. However, these runes were different. They were an independent strength that didn't belong to the martial artist but originated from the power of the heavenly Tao laws. In a sense, a martial artist used themselves as a medium to directly borrow extra power from the heavenly Tao. Like this, god runes could be used to greatly increase a martial artist's combat strength. Surprised? It seems this is your first time seeing god runes. Hee, no wonder, you're nothing but a newbie. Let me tell you something. The Azura Road is not for little children like you to wander around in. I will have you regret ever having stepped foot in here. The robber whose body shined with runes roared out loud. Then, 3 runes separated from his body and shot towards Lin Ming. Midway, these runes released an invisible strength that shrouded over Lin Ming. It was like a restriction of laws, making it so that he couldn't retreat. Whoosh! These runes chased after Lin Ming and flew into his body. He shook for a brief moment as his heart chilled. What is this? I can't even dodge them. Lin Ming panicked. He simply wasn't able to avoid these god rune attacks at all. It was like they had the support of the heavenly Tao laws. Once they started, it was a sure hit strike. The only way to stop them was if his strength reached a degree where he was able to contend with the Azura Road's heavenly Tao laws. However, these laws had been created by someone with an unimaginable strength. Wanting to contend with them was simply the ramblings of an idiot. Just what sort of effect would these runes have? If he encountered some runes that were strong enough to immediately defeat him, wouldn't that be the most unjust death? As all of this flashed through Lin Ming's mind, how could he not be panicked? But at this time, the 2 robbers laughed out loud. Little brat, are you afraid? Ha 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 ha. You have been struck by my god-slave seal. As long as this god-slave seal submerges into your spiritual sea and you are severely wounded by me, then you will become my slave. You won't even be able to kill yourself. I think that you are quite a good seedling. After you become my slave, I will train you and make you my dog. You will be used to kill my enemies. Accept your fate. For us to use you is your honor. The 2 robbers laughed, cutting down with their swords at Lin Ming. Lin Ming's eyebrows shot up. What? Those god-slave seals would only come into effect after he was severely wounded. In the divine realm, there also existed a slave seal that could be used to completely control someone. However, this was only possible if there was a vast difference in strength or the one being subdued decided to submit of their own will. Otherwise, they could burn away their body in suicide instead of becoming a puppet. In the Azura Road, as long as someone was extremely injured and their mind fell into confusion, then the god-slave seals would be able to display their effect. Even if both sides fought to a draw, had similar strengths, and were mutually wounded, this might also be the case. This was the function of the god-slave seal. It wasn't too heaven-defying at all, but seemed rather practical. So that's how it is. These god runes can strengthen a martial artist to a certain degree, but they won't be too heaven-defying. Otherwise, a child who couldn't wrestle a chicken would be able to exterminate a holy lord if they had enough god runes with them. After all, these runes have the support of the heavenly Tao rules and are nearly impossible to dodge. But if that were true, this Azura Road would have lost all sense of fairness and would have no effect at all as a smelting trial. Lin Ming suddenly realized what was happening. Like this, he didn't need to dread these god runes too much. He would always have the ability to resist at least. Chapter 1427, The First Rune. Chapter 1427, The First Rune. The runes of the Azura Road could only enhance the various strengths of a martial artist within a certain range. They could only play a supporting role, and a martial artist's own strength was the main factor. This was so there wouldn't be a situation where a holy lord would be able to kill an Empyrean. With this condition as the basis, only then would these runes help in tempering individuals. As Lin Ming understood all of this, he felt much more relieved. At this time, the 2 bandits rushed towards him. You are still distracted in a fight. A laughable idiot like you is only courting death. This sword of mine will split apart all of your ribs. The 2 bandits attacked Lin Ming together. Atop their swords, fierce ghostly faces appeared. These souls were distorted in pain, crying out for help. Hum tilde hum tilde hum tilde. The haunting cries of 10,000 ghosts radiated outwards. These 2 people were clearly martial artists of the demonic path. Facing this aura, Lin Ming sneered. You can only control me if I'm injured, but what happens if you're the ones that are injured instead? Bang! After understanding the approximate conditions of the god runes, Lin Ming didn't need to hold back anymore. His strength erupted from his body like a volcano. Behind him, the phantom of the heretical god tree appeared and the manic power of thunder and fire howled forth. Ka. The void trembled. Although Lin Ming couldn't crush the space within the Azura Road, he could still cause it to violently shake. The two robbers that carkily tried to attack Lin Ming were both shocked. What? A move that could cause the void to shake? How is this possible? What a formidable aura, he definitely isn't an ordinary youth. We've kicked ourselves this time, we have to run. Without further ado, the two martial artists turned tail to run. The runes from the body of one of the robbers lit up, as if they were about to manifest into some other effect. A cold light flashed in Lin Ming's eyes. He didn't know what those runes were used for, but he definitely couldn't let them activate. Otherwise, if those runes could greatly increase the defenses of those two or even form a defensive barrier around them, then that would give them the time to use some other methods to escape. The power of thunder and fire, heavenly Tao judgment. Lin Ming didn't hold back. The complete power of thunder and fire tribulation erupted. This was Lin Ming's self-created transcendent divine might. To use this move to deal with two people that were nearly equal to ordinary human divine lord martial artists was like using a giant cleaver to slay a chicken. But, in order to be cautious against the existence of these god runes, Lin Ming had used this move without hesitation. Bang! A terrifying detonation lit up the world. Countless crushed stones and waves of sands were sent soaring into the heavens, directly disintegrating and turning into endless clouds of dust. It was like a giant meteor had smashed into the earth, obscuring all vision on the ground within a dazzling red and purple glow. Ah! The two robbers cried out in pain. One of them was immediately evaporated into ash in the violent explosions. As for the other, an incomparably brilliant god rune appeared from his chest. This rune shimmered with an intense light as it resisted the power of heavenly Tao judgment. The red and purple divine light was constantly melted away even as the light of the god rune was constantly weakened. A moment later, there was a faint explosive sound as the god rune was exhausted of all its energy. It crumbled apart within the destructive power of heavenly tribulation. As for that robber, he fell onto the ground like a dead dog. His entire skeleton was shattered and his skin was burned black. His breath came in halting gasps, he was on the verge of death. This caused Lin Ming to be extremely surprised. Heavenly Tao judgment couldn't be said to be his complete strength, but it still wasn't able to kill some demonic path martial artist that was only equal to a weak human divine lord in cultivation. Without a doubt, that god rune had played a crucial role in his survival. It must have greatly strengthened this fellow's defensive abilities. If an early divine lord martial artist was able to achieve such an effect with such a god rune, then what effects would it display with a holy lord or world king? Lin Ming felt more and more that within the Azura Road, these god runes were considered an extremely important part of a martial artist's strength. Of course, a martial artist's own strength was the first and most important factor. But, if one had enough god runes and enough formidable god runes, then that might allow a martial artist's strength to rise by a large boundary. Not just that, but after completing certain smelting trials in the Azura Road, these god runes would transform into true strength within Lin Ming's body. The mightier the runes that Lin Ming was able to obtain, the more his strength would rise. It seemed that his first goal after arriving at the Azura Road should be to understand the functions of as many god runes as he could as well as to obtain his own god runes. That's right, didn't Senior Divine Dream say that there were many god runes I would be able to take from others? Lin Ming happily smiled as he thought of this. He glanced over at the two robbers. One had been torn to bits and pieces by the power of thunder and fire and had died on the spot. As for the other, because of the protection of the god rune, he was still hanging on to one final breath of life. He had just arrived at the Azura Road and Lin Ming hadn't even gone to steal anyone's runes, yet some people had already come to deliver their runes right to him. This was like running into a pot of gold. Although these two robbers' runes were likely not too heaven-defying, it was still better than nothing at all. Lin Ming walked towards the dead robber and swept through the shredded corpse with his divine sense. He discovered that this robber's god runes had already disappeared. This caused Lin Ming to sigh with regret. It seemed that upon a martial artist's death, the god runes they had would disappear. Unfortunately, he hadn't known of this just now and had wasted many runes in vain. Then, Lin Ming walked towards the next robber. This robber was still conscious. He looked at Lin Ming, his lips purple and his face white and cold. His voice shook, Forgive me. I will give you my runes. The robber rolled over with some difficulty, crawling on the ground. His hand pawed against the rocky sand floor, leaving behind a trail of bright red blood. I don't need you to give me your god runes. I'll take them myself, Lin Ming callously said. He had no sympathy towards someone who murdered others and stole their possessions. The phoenix blood spear in his hands thrust out and stabbed into the robber. The robber squealed like a pig and almost fainted. This piece of flesh actually had a rune carved into it. Lin Ming wanted to separate this rune, but he discovered that as soon as he cut it out, although a god rune really did appear, it vanished as soon as it floated upwards. No, the robber's voice continued to tremble. If you kill me, you won't have anything. If you can make an oath, I will give you all my runes. The robber haltingly spoke. However, Lin Ming wouldn't care about the words of a robber at all. He only thought for a moment as he recalled Empyrean Divine Dream's words. She had told him, of course, there remains the most simple and direct way of obtaining god runes, and that is to take them from others. There are some god runes that you can take for yourself as long as you kill the other party. Empyrean Divine Dream had only said some, which meant that only some runes were able to be taken. As for the others, he likely couldn't take them even if he killed others. Those runes were likely bound to a martial artist's body. So that's how it is. Lin Ming finally understood. He raised his spear once more and thrust it straight through the robber's back. The robber spat out a mouthful of blood, dead. From his corpse, 7 runes appeared. 6 of them disappeared, leaving behind a single one that slowly floated towards Lin Ming. Lin Ming stared at this rune for some time. Then, he slowly reached out his hand and touched this rune with a fingertip. Whoosh! With a light sound, this rune flitted forth like a little butterfly and entered Lin Ming's body. Lin Ming felt heat flow into his flesh, blood, and meridians. After that, a message appeared in his mind. God rune, mournful spirit's right hand. Grade, silver level. Can be inscribed onto the palm of the right hand to increase the striking power of the right hand. There are a total of 7 runes within the mournful spirit's right hand, divided into the gold and silver levels. The more that are collected, the greater the strength will be. By collecting all 7, they may be fused into one. The grade of the rune will also enter the blue soul level. This small tidbit of information flashed through Lin Ming's mind. However, there was far more information than the general attributes of this god rune. Lin Ming was able to glean many things from what he had learned. First, there were god runes that came in sets. Second, by completing a full set, there would be additional rewards. If a trial challenger wished to gain even more strength, they would have to endeavor to collect a complete set. Third, god runes were divided into different grades, and the cost of different grade god runes were also vastly different. Moreover, it seemed that the classification of this grade system was entirely similar to that of battle spirits. This left Lin Ming a bit surprised. Could it be that the supreme being who created the Azura Road was also human? Chapter 1428, Spiritor's Slave. Chapter 1428, Spiritor's Slave. The entire Azura Road consisted of a massive continent. This central continent was in the shape of a giant rectangular strip. The Azura Road was over 100 quadrillion miles long, but it was actually only a billion miles wide. This strangely shaped continent was countless times longer than it was wide. This caused the entire land to look like a straight road. In addition, countless slaughters took place on this continent, just like an Azura battlefield. The name of the Azura Road had been derived from these two aspects. The Azura Road was divided into 3 sections: the outer section, middle section, and inner section. The deeper one went down the Azura Road, the more intense the slaughter would become and also the more dangerous it would be. If one wanted to emerge from the depths of the Azura Road, that would be extremely difficult. Currently, Lin Ming was on the outermost section of the Azura Road. Azura Road, City of Discord. This was the first large city on the edges of the Azura Road's outer section. The skies above the City of Discord looked like a giant grey curtain. The air was overflowing with chaotic origin energy and deep pulses of killing intent appeared frequently. Here, Countless masters roamed the lands and countless influences were caught up in intrigue. It was a perilous city in constant chaos. In the city itself, the thugs of the various influences still had some level of restraint. However, in the outskirts of the city, murdering others and stealing their goods was far too common. A fat sheep has come. Millimeter, a human martial artist. His cultivation is a bit low, but it's rare to have such a deep foundation. He must be some genius that came here to temper himself. This sort of person is usually extremely wealthy. In a jungle on the outskirts of the city of Discord, 7 or 8 demon race martial artists were gathered together. They all wore black clothes and they were tall, with powerful and robust figures. Their bodies were healthy and corded with muscles. They were a bit similar to the Sky Spill continent's giant demon race but slightly shorter. In addition, there was someone completely wrapped in a thick black robe with a bamboo hat covering his face. His entire body exuded dark demonic energies and he seemed ethereal. He gave off an extremely dangerous feeling. Be careful, this person is strong. Although his cultivation isn't high, do not underestimate him. The black-robed man said in a coarse voice. It seemed he had a high status amongst these people. We understand, mister. We've been in this line of work for 20 years and we've already had over 100 of us brothers die, so we've long understood such a truth. Even if the person in front of us is only a normal divine transformation youth, we still won't take him lightly and will use everything we have. Even a lion must try its best to capture a rabbit. The leader of these black-clothed people said. The black-robed man they called Mister was already sufficient to explain his status. He should be considered the strategist of this bunch. The several black-clothed martial artists looked at each other. Then, the captain of these demon martial artists waved his hand, saying, "Go." Of these 7 or 8 martial artists, the weakest were equal to late divine transformation martial artists. At this time, they all rushed out together, hurtling towards their prey, more robbers. Flying in the air, Lin Ming had long ago discovered this group of people. Although he couldn't understand their cultivation and thus couldn't see their exact boundary, he could still discern their relative strength through their auras. Lin Ming discovered that in the Azura Road, his own cultivation had become his lucky charm. Of course, Lin Ming didn't think he was invincible in the Azura Road. In fact, there were some people here that could kill him without much effort at all. However, the strength Lin Ming revealed on the outside was far too low, only at the divine transformation realm. Those people with strength equal to the late Holy Lord realm simply wouldn't bother wasting their time on robbing someone at the divine transformation realm. Those that would do such a thing were usually at the divine transformation or divine lord realm in strength. And, these people weren't able to pose a threat to Lin Ming. As Lin Ming saw these people shoot towards him, he sneered. He didn't retreat. Rather, he suddenly accelerated, breaking through the air directly at them. Millimeter. This brat. The captain demon martial artist was shocked. He never thought that not only would his prey not run away but he would actually accelerate towards them. There were only 2 possibilities for such a situation. The first was that this youth was a fool and the second was that this youth had absolute confidence in his own strength. For a youth that dared to enter the Azura Road smelting trial and also have such a solid foundation, there was almost a 0 chance for the first possibility. That meant it could only be the second. As the black-clothed demon captain thought of this, he viciously smiled. If that's the case, let's see just who is more ruthless. Kill. A roar shook the heavens. The 7 or 8 demon martial artists attacked together. Lin Ming flung his hand forwards and thrust out the phoenix blood spear. A divine light of thunder and fire twined together, slicing through the void, causing a horrifying wave of energy to sweep forward. Rumble, rumble, rumble. With a series of terrifying explosions, the red and purple spear light covered all the demon martial artists. In an instant, blood rained down as anguished voices cried out. The 3 demon martial artists in the front that bore the brunt of the attack immediately exploded into pieces from the brutal power of thunder and fire. Up until these people died, their faces were still covered with expressions of absolute disbelief. The demon captain was panic-stricken. He would never have dreamt this was possible. He had already given this human youth an extremely high appraisal in strength, But his true strength was as different from his thoughts as the heavens and earth. If this youth wasn't concealing his cultivation, then perhaps only the greatest genius of a universe could be so ridiculously strong. How could such bad luck? That was the demon captain's last thought. In the next moment, all of the demon robbers had been completely exterminated by Lin Ming. The entire battle had lasted for less than a single breath of time. The phoenix blood spear was still held slanted in Lin Ming's hand, the spearpoint not stained with a single drop of blood. Lin Ming's complexion was still indifferent like before. And in that jungle area, there was still the black-robed man. His entire body shook. It was clear that he was shaking in fear. That human is simply a devil. This black-robed strategist hid behind a giant rock, hiding his aura as much as possible. A force field made from his soul force appeared around him, isolating out all fluctuations of life. In terms of concealing his aura, only a soul form could do this in the most perfect way possible. But at this time, with a slight swishing sound, a human youth appeared right in front of him like ghosts and gods. Fortunately, the black-robed man was used to seeing life or death scenes, or he would have already fainted in fear. Lin Ming had appeared too suddenly without any indication at all. The last one. Lin Ming raised the phoenix blood spear, killing intent flowing out from him. Against these people that murdered and robbed others, he wouldn't give them any quarter at all. He would kill all them without a shred of mercy. Wait. The black-robed man shakily spoke out words of the divine realm. In these past days within the Azura Road, Lin Ming discovered that there were 3 main languages used. One of them was the language of the divine realm, mostly used by humans and demons. However, because there weren't many humans in the Azura Road, the divine realm language was mostly spoken by the demon race. This black-robed man clearly wasn't from the demon race. Lin Ming could feel a very powerful soul aura coming from this man's body. As for the blood vitality of his body, it was far too little, approaching almost zero. Spiriters. A thought lit up in Lin Ming's mind. This was the first time he had seen a martial artist of the soul race. The soul race was one of the peak races of the 33 layered heavens. Their strength was an unknown to him, but they shouldn't be any worse than the saints. Yes. I am a spiriters. Do not kill me, I am willing to give you all my god runes and be your slave. As the black-robed spiriters spoke, he took off his robe, revealing a sparkling body. This spiriters wore a set of armor that shimmered with a great light. It seemed as if he wasn't a solid entity at all. The man knelt down on his knees, showing absolute submission. Millimeter, be my slave. Lin Ming's thoughts stirred. When he first arrived the Azura Road, he had encountered 2 robbers that possessed god-slave seals. Ordinarily, many people would rather die than become a slave. This was because after becoming a slave, they would lose all sense of personality and turn into a mindless puppet without any awareness at all. This was no different from death. They would be controlled by others and lose any and all dignity. Unless a master lifted the seal on their own initiative, they would be a slave until death. You would rather be a slave than die. Lin Ming still hadn't retracted his spear. Yes, because of some reasons I still do not wish to die yet. Moreover, you are extremely strong. If I follow you I will quickly lose value, and perhaps you might let me go at that time. Lose value? Then tell me just what value you have for me now. Lin Ming's coldly said. In terms of strength, this spiriters in front of him was nothing at all. Information. The spiriters martial artist said. In addition, I can refine pills and draw inscriptions. You might not know, but the best alchemists and god rune masters in the Azura Road are all spiriters. In the achievements of these 2 skills, my soul race is several times stronger than the other races combined. There is just no comparison. Oh! Lin Ming's mind stirred. Inscription. Within the divine realm, when one reached a high enough cultivation, the role that inscription technique could play was extremely small. But in the Azura Road, the inscriptions that this spiriters martial artist spoke about were obviously not as simple as the divine realm inscription technique. What he said was, God Rune Master. This likely had something to do with god runes. And, the spiriters martial artist's next words confirmed Lin Ming's thoughts. The spiriters said, In the Azura Road, if God runes are combined with inscription technique, then they can produce incredible changes. Here, God runes are nearly equal to the highest laws. Moreover, the truth is that these laws can even be used in the outside world. All of that depends on whether or not you can receive the permission of the Azura Road's heavenly Tao. If you can spare my life, then I can do inscription or alchemy for you. Even if there is some alchemy or inscription mission that I cannot help complete, I can still recommend to you Spirit as Grandmasters. Once you control me with a God rune, I will be absolutely loyal to you and you will not need to suspect me at all. Moreover, the God runes are the highest laws, so no one can unravel them but you. And you can ask me any questions you have about the smelting trials and unknown lands of the Azura Road. The conditions that the Spirit's martial artist put forth were very tempting, especially the last one. Indeed, Lin Ming knew far too little about the Azura Road. He didn't even know how to complete any of the Azura Road's smelting trials. Lin Ming looked at the Spirit's martial artist. You seem to know that I'm a newcomer to the Azura Road. How do you know this? That is because I can approximately feel the strength of the God runes within your body, and they are too weak, far too weak. Not only is there an extremely small quantity, but the quality is also very low. If you were weak, then this would be reasonable, but you are extremely strong. This proves that you are likely a newcomer. Moreover, even if you weren't a newcomer, your understandings of the Azura Road shouldn't surpass mine, because I have already lived here for several hundred years and have collected a great deal of information. Very well, it's a deal. Lin Ming agreed. Killing this Spirit's martial artist was meaningless to him, but keeping him around would indeed be a bit useful. Chapter 1429, The Final Trial. Chapter 1429, The Final Trial. A grey-blue rune shimmered in the air before slowly sinking into the Spirit's martial artist's forehead. The Spirit's face twitched as he grit his teeth and withstood the pain. For a moment, the pupils of the Spirit's were filled with chaos before suddenly being restored to pure brightness. Now, as he looked towards Lin Ming, his eyes were filled with awe and respect. Old slave Soulwhite greets master. Good. Soulwhite, I do not need you to follow me for too long. When I leave the Azura Road, I will return your freedom to you. Now, I want to ask you, how can I be considered as having passed the smelting trials of the Azura Road? Reporting to master, this Azura Road, in the mind of this servant, is like a game created by a supreme god. We are placed in this game and made to play it. For the winners, unimaginable rewards await, but for losers, there is nothing but death. In the Azura Road, the heavenly Tao rules that govern this world are incomparably strange. Many things have already been set in stone. Trial challengers can find God runes through certain lucky chances, and once you collect the required specific sets of God runes, then that will trigger a chance to enter the final smelting trial. Through this smelting trial, you will be able to obtain the rewards of the Azura Road's heavenly Tao. This is because the person who created the Azura Road is an unimaginable existence. There are even those who speculate that this unknown existence is the master of the 33-layered heavens. In short, the rewards of the Azura Road are extremely rich. Collect the sets of God runes. Lin Ming's mind stirred. Yes. Only those God runes that can form complete sets are considered the most useful. There are some individual scattered God runes, for instance, the slave seal rune that master used on this servant, that do not have much significance. Currently, there are known to be over 1,000 sets of complete God runes. But these God rune sets are mostly focused within the bronze level and silver level. A small number are in the gold level and even less are in the blue soul level. Beyond that, any complete sets at the zenith black level are simply a legend. In order to qualify for the final smelting trial, there are 36 sets of God runes required. A complete set of God runes is 10 times, 100 times, or even 1,000 times more valuable than runes of the same grade that aren't complete. Moreover, runes that can form complete sets will not fuse with the blood and flesh of a martial artist. Once martial artists are killed, these God runes will escape from their bodies where they can be obtained by the killer. So that's how it is, Lin Ming said to himself, suddenly aware. When he entered the Azura Road, he had killed 2 robbers, and one of them had dropped a God rune called the Mournful Spirit's Right Hand. This God rune was part of a set, And now it seemed that this wasn't a coincidence at all. It seemed that only these god runes were able to be dropped from others. And as Solwhite had said, if one wanted to pass the smelting trial, the first condition was to collect enough complete sets of god runes. Only like this would he have the chance to go through the smelting trial. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to enter at all. Moreover, every time a set of god runes was gathered, it could greatly enhance a martial artist's strength. From this, one could see that they were much more valuable than ordinary god runes. Even so, not even a complete set of god runes would bind with the flesh and blood of a martial artist. Once a martial artist was killed, these god runes would fall out. These god runes would inevitably become objects that countless martial artists struggled over, treasures that would start a storm of blood and war. This was especially true for extremely high-level god runes. Let alone a set, if only a single one were to appear in the world, that was still enough for everyone to crazily struggle for it. Who knew just how many rivers of blood would have to flow? If this Azura Road was really a game created by a supreme god, then the original intention of this game was to make the trial challengers here slaughter each other, and then use this trial of blood and death to select the most outstanding individual from the mountain of corpses. Solwhite, tell me something, through all these years, just how many people have thoroughly completed the Azura Road's smelting trial? Lin Ming could imagine that wanting to complete the smelting trial was more difficult than ascending to heaven. But, according to Divine Dream, the Azura Road had already existed for countless hundreds of millions of years. It was a world that had existed far beyond the last great calamity. In all of these years, more geniuses had emerged than there were grains of sand in an endless desert. In addition, with the increasing number of martial artists that were native to the Azura Road, there should have been someone capable of passing the smelting trial. Solwhite said, reporting to Master, the Azura Road's smelting trial is simply far too difficult. In history, there are indeed martial artists who have crossed the smelting trial, but their era is far too remote for our imaginations. These people once left behind endless numbers of legends in the past, but these legends were watered down over the generations, evolving into numerous versions that are impossible to verify. To thoroughly pass the smelting trial is a near impossibility. But, if it is only collecting the 36 sets of god runes required to enter the final trial, and then surviving and completing a part of the trial and correspondingly collecting a part of the rewards, then that is a bit more simple. Of course, this is simple only in the context of the massive number of martial artists in the Azura Road. With so many people, there will always be those that possess strength that defies the heavens or luck that defies the heavens and are thus able to collect the required god runes. I believe the Master is also one of these people. However, if Master enters the final trial, Master must be careful, because this final trial has an extremely high mortality rate. Master must not be greedy for more rewards and choose a path that cannot be completed, that will only result in dying in vain. In these last 100 million years, out of all the martial artists that have started the final trial, the one with the highest completion has only reached an 83% completion rate. Oh! Lin Ming thought out loud, 83%? You know this exact number? Of course. This is because after the Azura Road's final trial ends, the Azura Road's heavenly Tao will inform every existence in this world about the results of those martial artists that have completed above 70%. The heavenly Tao will also inform the world of their name and cause their name to rise to fame. In the last 100 million years, only 2 people have managed to surpass 80% in the final trial. One of them is a saint race martial artist and the other is a soul race martial artist, one a man and the other a woman. Coincidentally, both of them appeared 30 years ago. The saint martial artist had an 81% completion rate and the young spiriters girl had an 83% completion rate. Afterwards, both of them earned unimaginable rewards. It is said that the 2 of them were the top geniuses of their respective races. As White Soul spoke to hear, Lin Ming was startled. Number 1 top talent. 30 years ago. Lin Ming didn't ask about who that spiriters girl was, he certainly wouldn't know her. But, that saint martial artist. What is the name of that saint martial artist? A light flashed in Lin Ming's eyes. That person's name was Wumor. White Soul spoke as if this was something everything knew about. As Lin Ming heard this name he sucked in a deep breath. Wumor. The good fortune saint's son, Wumor. It really was him. As he thought, before entering the Azura Road, the good fortune saint's son had yet to obtain his title. At that time, he was only known as Wumor. But, after leaving the Azura Road and also completing 81% of the final trial, the good fortune saint sovereign had bestowed a title upon him. The good fortune saint's son, the official title for the next saint sovereign. The next time that he appeared in the world, he naturally was referred to as the good fortune saint's son. Then, that title had become his name. So that's how it is. Wumor also once entered the Azura Road. Lin Ming didn't think this was strange. In the divine realm, because of the broken transmission arrays, only those skilled Empyrean descendants would be able to come to this Azura Road smelting trial. As for the other races, this sort of trial was likely much more common. If the good fortune saint's son was such an extraordinary person, how could he miss out on this opportunity? He participated in the smelting trial 30 years ago and obtained an 81% completion rate. That makes him one of the top-ranked martial artists in the last 100 million years. And, this compares all the geniuses of the 33-layered heavens. If Wumor can accomplish this, it's no wonder he's so arrogant. With such an achievement under his belt, it was no surprise that he didn't care for Lin Ming. Not only did the good fortune saint's son believe that Lin Ming's talent was inferior to his, but to make up the disparity of dozens of years was easier said than done. In the turmoil of the world, the soul race is really overflowing with talent. That Spiritor's genius was actually able to suppress Wumor. It's unbelievable. In the 33-layered heavens, powerhouses are like clouds. There is no limit in this universe. There is always a higher mountain and a stronger person. As Lin Ming was thinking this, he felt his heated blood boiling within him. Out of all the upcoming heroes of the 33-layered heavens, he was sure to be one of them, and also an important one. The good fortune saint's son had completed his smelting trial 30 years ago. But, he had likely entered the Azura Road at least 40 years ago. In other words, the disparity between Lin Ming and the good fortune saint's son was around 40 years. In the next 100 years, Lin Ming had to overcome this disparity of 40 years. If he was chasing after an ordinary genius, then this would be simple. But, the one he was chasing after was the second most talented genius in the last 100 million years of the 33-layered heavens. This required that Lin Ming grew over 50% faster than he did. Grow 50% faster. Lin Ming gripped his fists, a smile crowding his face. I don't think that's too bad. Now that he had a clear goal in his heart, he felt his fighting spirit roused. He had to overtake the good fortune saint's son and reveal his skill in the future. Now, his quest to do so would begin at the Azura Road. No matter what, Lin Ming's degree of completion had to surpass that of the good fortune saint's son as well as that Spiritor's girl. Lin Ming subconsciously gripped his fists. But, as his fighting spirit was seething, he didn't know that a trillion miles away at one of the countless other entrances to the Azura Road, a team of martial artists had entered. These people were all saint martial artists. There were several hundred of them in total. Without a doubt, each and every one of them was a genius. If they were placed in the divine realm, it was likely that they could reach the top 100 of the first martial meeting finals. The leader of these people was a tall youth. This youth was Imperial Prince Naki, who had been defeated by Lin Ming. After several months of recuperation, Naki's shattered body had healed from his savage beating by Lin Ming. After all, in terms of recovering, Naki surpassed even Lin Ming. Azura Road. Hehe, we've finally arrived to complete this trial. Just wait for me, Lin Ming. During our battle at the chaotic blood continent, you used some strange move to summon a stone gate carved from chaos stones and had me smash into it, severely wounding and even defeating me. That loss was due to a tactical mistake on my part and not because I was lacking in strength. I refuse to accept that battle. We still haven't truly compared just who amongst us is stronger and weaker. Now that I have come to this Azura Road, my ultimate goal is to complete over 80% of the final trial and have my name carved down on the divine tablet for the next 100 million years. At that time, I will obtain incredible advantages and then I will fight you again, ruining your body and soul, destroying your confidence until you never dare to fight me again. Chapter 1430, City of Discord. Chapter 1430, City of Discord. This is the City of Discord. Lin Ming looked at the massive city in front of him. Just the city walls themselves were hundreds of feet high, and the city gate was thick and heavy, made from some unknown material. All sorts of complicated seals were etched onto its surface. On each side of the city gates was a hefty-looking guard. These people were both from the demon race and were equal to a late divine transformation human martial artist in cultivation. The city entrance fee is a single origin energy rune for each person. As Lin Ming approached, the two guards glanced towards him without any expression. Origin energy rune? Lin Ming was startled. This sort of thing sounded like a currency. In the Azura Road, did even the currency consist of runes? At this time, behind Lin Ming, Soul White hurriedly walked forwards. He wiped his hands together and some floating motes of light left his palms, forming two runes that flew towards the guards. One of the guards took out a jade slip and received the two runes. He stoically said, "You may enter." With a wave of the guard's hand, Lin Ming and Soul White entered the city. Origin energy runes are currency here? Then is it not possible to use the 9 sun jades I brought? Lin Ming asked. If this were true, then things would be a bit inconvenient for him. 9 sun jades? Soul White was startled. He naturally knew what 9 sun jades were. They were an extremely large unit of currency to the humans. Master's background is truly grand. Soul White said, reporting to Master, 9 sun jades can be used, but only demons and humans will accept them. The spiriters and saints don't have much use for the 9 sun jades. The soul race will accept soul stones and the saint race will accept blood demon crystals or blood yang crystals. So that's how it is, Lin Ming said, suddenly aware. There were many different races in the Azura Road, and because of differences in cultivation systems and methods, resources held differing values to them. How are origin energy runes obtained? Lin Ming asked. Soul White said, in the Azura Road, there are many blank runes. These blank runes can absorb heaven and earth origin energy to become origin energy runes. However, this process requires a long time and a great deal of energy. Origin energy runes are the most basic form of currency in the Azura Road. They can be exchanged for all other types of currencies. Other types of currencies can be exchanged for origin energy runes, but the exchange rate will be a bit lower. Generally speaking, 10,000 or so violet sunstones can be exchanged for a single origin energy rune. Understood. Lin Ming nodded. With Soul White following him, it was indeed much easier. Otherwise, he might even have had trouble entering the city gates. As Lin Ming was about to walk deeper into the city, he discovered that many other martial artists didn't need to pay a fee to pass the city gates. How come those people don't need to pay an entrance fee? They are permanent residents of the City of Discord. Soul White explained. He knew a great deal about this area. Within the City of Discord, the permanent residents are protected by the law enforcement team. If there is anyone that attacks or poses a threat to the lives of the city residents, then they will be hunted down by law enforcement and killed. As for those that aren't permanent residents of the City of Discord, they do not receive this treatment. If they die, and nobody cares. This is why many people want to become permanent residents here. However, it is simply far too difficult for most. The simplest method to become a permanent resident in the City of Discord is to buy a house here, but even the cheapest house is several 100 million origin energy runes. Even if a Divine Lord powerhouse had unlimited blank runes and were absorbing heaven and earth origin energy at all times every day, they would still require several 100,000 years to produce that many origin energy runes. And, a Divine Lord powerhouse can only live for 100,000 years. They would have to work for several generations to accomplish that. Such a ridiculous house price. Lin Ming felt this was unbelievable. Even if a Divine Lord powerhouse were to work for a lifetime, they still wouldn't be able to afford a house. In the Divine Realm, this would be incredible. Several 100 million origin energy runes was equal to several trillion violet sunstones, around half of a boundless world pill. This was a completely unfathomable price to an ordinary Divine Lord powerhouse. It is normal. This is the Azura Road, where slaughter is everywhere. It is hard to find a safe place to live. If one can become a permanent resident, then they will have a safe place to cultivate and won't need to worry about being killed every day. This is an extremely tempting proposition to many martial artists. However, there is a limited number of houses in the city, so the price is correspondingly high. This old servant just said that if one used origin energy runes alone, then even a divine lord powerhouse wouldn't be able to afford it in their lifetime. But, periodically, there are those that have heaven-defying luck and will obtain a priceless rare god rune. If they sell this god rune, it is possible to immediately have the funds to purchase a house. After all, there are many outside martial artists that come here to adventure and temper themselves, and what they want are only god runes. Moreover, these people are often exorbitantly rich. Millimeter. Lin Ming nodded. He was also the same. He had no interest in buying a house here and only wanted god runes. Before, you said that there are many places in the City of Discord to obtain god runes. Yes, Master, please follow me. As Soul White spoke, he brought Lin Ming to walk towards the center of the city. The streets in the City of Discord were extremely spacious and the buildings were several times larger than Lin Ming had imagined. The buildings were constructed with roughly hewn rock that wasn't carved much at all. Even so, it possessed a bold and wild taste to it. As they walked further, Lin Ming discovered that the martial artists he passed along the way all had very good levels of talent. There were often martial artists with sloppy foundations, but they would normally be shop attendants, waiters, or entertainers of some sort. Besides these common people, everyone else here was extraordinary. These elites were not just trial challengers that came from the outside 33 layered heavens, but also included native residents of the Azura Road. In fact, there were far more native residents of the Azura Road than there were outsiders. These people could also cultivate martial arts in the Azura Road as well as attend the same trials and inspections. Everything that was available to the trial challengers was also available to them. There were similarly great geniuses that could be born from these people. Now, all of these various geniuses had gathered at the City of Discord in order to receive the missions here. These were God Rune missions. If one could complete a mission, they could obtain the corresponding God Rune rewards. It's here, Black God Fort. Soul White pointed at a giant towering black building in front of him. This black pagoda had a total of 13 levels and each level was hundreds of feet high. The pagoda was extremely large, making it look like a dark mountain. As they entered the first level of Black God Fort, the inside was staggeringly huge. If it weren't for the many martial artists gathered here, it would be possible to go horse riding. Lin Ming swept his eyes over the crowd and noticed that many martial artists weren't here for missions, but had set up various stalls in the giant hall. They sold all sorts of things. Besides pills and magic tools, the most available goods were shield-shaped badges. There were far too many people that had set up stalls, and because there were so many people within Black God Fort's first level, it had an extremely chaotic atmosphere. The people here all came from different races. There were ogres that were 5.5 feet tall, their entire bodies wrapped in thick corded muscles with chains all around them. There were imps that were less than 5 feet tall, their entire bodies covered in wrinkled skin without any hair at all. There were many beautiful monster race youths. There were many spiriters that had ethereal bodies, and all sorts of other races. However, there was an extremely small number of humans, just as Lin Ming had expected. The small number of young human elites in the hall were all martial artists that were native to the Azura Road. The reason that this had occurred was naturally because the portals leading from the Divine Realm to the Azura Road had been destroyed. In addition, within the current 33 layered heavens, humanity was the weakest of the three main races. Their numbers weren't too high and thus it was reasonable that there weren't too many of them in the Azura Road. Like this, Lin Ming's appearance attracted a great deal of attention in the hall. Hair, a little divine transformation human kid. His foundation is quite nice. For a divine transformation realm boy to enter the Azura Road alone means he's quite brave. However, within the Azura Road, the overly brave tend to die overly fast, ha ha ha. Several saint martial artists discussed amongst each other with true essence sound transmissions, a smile hanging on their lips. The saints were mortal enemies with the humans. In this Black God Fort, they had some scruples and wouldn't recklessly attack, but if they were outside, It wouldn't be rare to encounter situations where saints and humans fought upon first meeting. Lin Ming faintly frowned. He could sense many unfriendly or even hostile senses bearing down on him, wanting to observe his inner world. It's the saints. Lin Ming didn't need to use his eyes to see who was watching him. In the Azura Road there was no restriction of treaties. It was likely that the saints would annihilate any humans they came upon here and steal their wealth and god runes. Lin Ming didn't bother with these saint martial artists. He looked towards the giant mission board in the center of the hall. Different difficulties of missions corresponded to different degrees of rewards. What surprised Lin Ming the most was that even accepting these missions required one to pay an origin energy rune fee. Moreover, the fee required for these missions was quite astonishing. In order to receive a gold-level mission, one required 100,000 origin energy runes. These origin energy runes would not be returned, regardless of whether or not the mission was completed. 100,000 origin energy runes was equal to 1,000,000 violet sunstones. Although it wasn't anything to him at all, how could an ordinary martial artist afford this? Moreover, if they couldn't complete this mission, then they would lose everything. Soulwhite said, because origin energy runes are required to accept missions, this has further cemented the status of origin energy runes as the most robust and solid currency of the Azura Road. After looking at the gold-level missions, Lin Ming looked over the blue soul-level missions. The price to accept a mission had increased by 100 times. Now, it cost 10 million origin energy runes for a single mission. Following that was Zenith Black-level missions. On the entire mission board, there was only a single mission at that level. The price was also increased by 100 times. That was 1 billion origin energy runes. In other words, 10 trillion violet sunstones or 10 sun jades. That was more expensive than a boundless world pill. In the past, the boundless world pill could only be purchased by at least a world king holy land at a tremendous price. Now, when this level of wealth was placed in Black God Fort, it was only able to trade for a single chance to complete a Zenith Black level mission. If someone were to accept the mission and fail, all of that wealth would be lost. No wonder Soulwhite had said that gathering a complete set of Zenith Black runes was a legend. At this time, Soulwhite said, "Master, you can also purchase missions from the stalls that the Trial Challenger have set up in Black God Fort. The badges each represent a mission and the different colors each represent a different level. The silver-white badges are silver-level missions, the golden badges are gold-level missions, and the blue-green badges are blue soul-level missions. After a mission is completed, the badge will automatically turn into a rune. Normally speaking, buying a mission badge from a Trial Challenger is far cheaper." Oh, no wonder there are so many stalls set up in Black God Fort. It seems there are many more missions than are listed. Lin Ming rubbed his chin. If someone were to first come to Azura Road and not understand any of the rules here, then it was possible to be led through many detours. Chapter 1431, Receiving a Mission. Chapter 1431, Receiving a Mission. Lin Ming glanced over the stalls and picked one. The reason he chose this stall was because he felt that out of all the nearby dozens of vendors, this one was a bit stronger than the rest. This vendor was an ogre and his cultivation was equal to a peak human divine lord. His foundation was extremely shaky, but he should still have the ability to battle with a half-step holy lord. Moreover, an ogre race martial artist would be willing to trade in violet sun crystals. This would make the process much easier. Lin Ming looked at the stall. Out of the dozens of mission badges, most were gold, a small number were silver, and there were also a few at the blue soul level. Some badges had a price tag attached. These prices were around half the price of those offered by Black God Fort. Seeing Lin Ming walk over, the vendor didn't seem very excited at all. The vendor took out a jade slip with a rune inscribed on it. He began to estimate the value of this rune without any intention of assisting Lin Ming. This was naturally because Lin Ming's cultivation was too low, thus he didn't seem like a customer. "How come some badges don't have a price listed?" Lin Ming asked. The vendor glared at Lin Ming and impatiently said, "The badges with marked prices aren't high-quality items. As for the higher-priced ones, speak to me if you want to buy one, and if you don't want to buy one then don't block the view of my stall. I want to buy one. Lin Ming didn't care about this vendor's attitude. In the city of discord, if one didn't reveal enough strength then they wouldn't be respected. Which one? The vendor laid down the rune jade slip he was fiddling with, his voice still as cold as before. This one. How many origin energy runes is it? Lin Ming pointed at a blue soul level mission badge. Before this, he had already asked Soul White with a true essence sound transmission about it. This badge should be very expensive because it offered a complete set. The vendor looked at Lin Ming with surprise, frowning. Are you trying to waste my time? You're only at the divine transformation realm but you want to buy a blue soul level mission badge? Do you want to die? Normally speaking, a blue soul level mission required a divine lord realm master to complete. Moreover, these missions were extremely dangerous. There was a high chance of death. In these missions, defeat not only meant the loss of wealth, but often the loss of life. You don't need to worry about whether or not I can complete the mission. I will pay whatever the origin energy rune cost is. Heh, then you best not be playing around with me. I do not like being messed around with like a fool. 8 million. That is the final price. The demon race fellow loudly said. His words exuded an oppressive feeling as if he disallowed all negotiations of price. This was also the style in which one did business in the city of discord. Without strength, one would be at a disadvantage to even buy something. This is the price. Soul White said with a true essence sound transmission. He was good at estimating accurate prices. Lin Ming nodded. Deal. I want to ask, do you take violet sunstones? This fellow agreed so easily. The demon vendor was stunned. Although this price wasn't too high, 8 million was still a considerable sum of money, even to a divine transformation realm martial artist. Yet, Lin Ming didn't even bat an eye. I can take violet sunstones. The demon vendor nodded. It was common for humans to take out violet sunstones as a transaction currency. 1 to 1500. This vendor immediately put out an exchange rate. Lin Ming glanced at Soul White and Soul White responded, this rate is a tiny bit of a loss but still within an acceptable range. Millimeter. Lin Ming quickly took out violet sun crystals. As long as someone wasn't trying to trick him, he didn't mind spending whatever amount of money necessary. The number seems right. The vendor swept through the violet sun crystals with his sense and determined it was correct. He looked at Lin Ming with some surprise. A divine transformation realm martial artist that bought a blue soul level badge without even batting an eye, and, what was rare was that he didn't even try to bargain. It seemed as if this boy had some background to him. Lin Ming received the badge. Before he had a chance to look through the mission details within it, a not-so-friendly voice suddenly rang out. Hey, boy, come over for a little chat. Lin Ming turned to see the 3 saint race martial artists staring at him from behind. One of them was lying back in an armchair, his legs propped up on a stool in a very comfortable position. He stretched out his right hand, waggling a hooked finger at Lin Ming, clearly wanting Lin Ming to come over. Yes, you, come here. Lin Ming sneered in his heart. These 3 saint martial artists were the people that were probing him the moment he entered the hall, trying to investigate his inner world. This was an extremely rude and unreasonable form of behavior. Now these 3 people were sitting there trying to wave him over. It seemed they were far more mentally ill than Lin Ming first presumed. Lin Ming couldn't be bothered to deal with them, but, at this time, the ogre vendor who sold Lin Ming the blue soul level badge said, I advise you to go over. Those 3 are called the Black Iron Ghost Triad and are quite infamous in the city of discord. They force through transactions and even kill others to steal their possessions. They stop at nothing to get what they want and many people have died beneath their hands. If you go over there you might suffer a little loss and lose a little money, but if you ignore them then you might lose your life later. I know you have some background and are usually like a young master that is used to having his way, and you don't like any stains to ruin your sight, but this is the city of discord. Here, strength is everything. Faraway dragons cannot pressure local snakes. If you die here, who cares what sort of background you have? They might not even be able to find out what happened. Thank you for the advice. I want to ask, is fighting allowed in Black God Fort? Lin Ming asked. You cannot, so you should be safe here. However, you cannot stay here all the time. They probably see that you come from some wealthy background and want to forcefully sell you something and make you eat the loss. In the city of discord, you must learn forbearance. The ogre vendor casually said. These sorts of matters were obviously common at Black God Fort. Here, if one revealed their own wealth and lacked the strength to protect it, they would be targeted by others. It seems I really can't fight here. What a pity, Lin Ming thought to himself. The ogre vendor never would have imagined that the question Lin Ming asked just now was not because of his own safety but because he wanted to directly eliminate these three. Boy, we're calling you. Are you deaf? The three Saint martial artists were enraged as they saw Lin Ming continue to ignore them. They stood up, smashing their fists together and making explosive crackling sounds with their joints. If you want to see me, then come over here yourself. You want me to go over there? It looks like you ate something bad today. Lin Ming's voice was indifferent, but his words caused the Black Iron Ghost Triad to be shocked. They were actually being yelled at by a mere divine transformation realm boy. This scene immediately attracted the gazes of many people present. After they saw the identities of both parties, they waited with expectant expressions. It's the Black Iron Ghost Triad. Ha ha, a divine transformation realm boy just challenged the Black Iron Ghost Triad? Hee, that boy just arrived at the City of Discord, so he likely doesn't know who the Black Iron Ghost Triad are or how vicious they can be. He's really kicked the bucket this time. What bad luck for him. I thought this boy had some sort of background, but it's a shame he doesn't know that these ruffians simply don't care about any sort of status in the City of Discord. Those with shoes aren't afraid of those with bare feet. At the worst, if the three of them kill that boy, they'll just run away. Even though that boy is fine at Black God Fort, once he leaves he's definitely going to suffer a miserable fate. Not only are those Black Iron Ghosts difficult to deal with, but they kill anyone that offends them. Moreover, they even hang the corpses up above the streets to serve as a consequence, showing people what happens when they are angered. People were speaking out loud without true essence sound transmissions. They simply didn't care if anyone heard. The vendor who sold Lin Ming a mission badge slowly shook his head. In his opinion, Lin Ming's character was too feisty and eccentric. For him to deliberately provoke the Black Iron Ghost Triad wasn't a wise move at all. If he had such a character, it would be impossible for him to continue living in the Azura Road. It was likely he would be killed tomorrow by the Black Iron Ghost Triad. He had only met Lin Ming by chance, so he wasn't too interested in persuading him. This boy could heed his advice if he wanted. What did you say? Did I hear wrong? One of the three Saint martial artists looked at Lin Ming, devilishly smiling. How strangely odd. Is this world becoming more idiotic, or is it us Black Iron Ghost Triad that is becoming too merciful? Is it because we haven't killed anyone recently? How interesting. Boy, I originally just wanted a bit of your blood, but now I'll be taking your life. You'd better not leave Black God Fort for the rest of your life. The Black Iron Ghost Triad stood up and began grinning demonically as they walked towards Lin Ming. However, Lin Ming didn't care about them at all. He turned around and began walking towards the second level of Black God Fort. Since he couldn't fight here, he couldn't finish these people off. Everything would be settled once he left this area. Now, he wanted to see just what there was on the second and third levels of Black God Fort. The first level only had a single Zenith Black mission badge. Although Lin Ming could afford it, he didn't want this mission at all, because the God runes rewarded for it weren't complete. Only by finding complete sets of God runes could he qualify for the final trial. Although separate Zenith Black level God runes were valuable, Lin Ming didn't want to waste his time if they couldn't help him enter the trials. Where are the stairs? Lin Ming asked Soul White. In the center of the hall behind the central pillar, you can go to the second floor from there. Soul White was calm this entire time. He had experienced Lin Ming's strength for himself, so he didn't worry for him at all. Millimeter. Lin Ming nodded and turned towards there. But at this moment, the staircase to the second floor began to shine. Then, the voice of a young girl spread through the entire Black God Fort. Congratulations, trial challenger Dugu Li. You have successfully defeated all opponents within the game and have completed the checkpoint. You have earned 1 chance to draw a blue soul level mission. These words caused the entire hall to erupt into chaos. Fuck, a blue soul level drawing. This Dugu Lee is too lucky. To think he actually managed to obtain the qualifications for a drawing. Don't be jealous of him. This is because he is strong. Dugu Lee is stronger than us to begin with, and with some luck he managed to obtain the qualifications. Everyone was rapidly discussing. All of the transactions at the various stalls also came to a halt. Even the 3 black iron ghosts that were menacingly glaring at Lin Ming were distracted. This left Lin Ming a bit puzzled. What is a blue soul level draw chance? Is it precious? Yes, it is extremely precious. Master may not know, but even among blue soul level missions, there are some blue soul level missions that will provide very rare god runes which are tens or hundreds of thousands of times more valuable than ordinary blue soul level god runes. Moreover, Black God Fort will not sell these rare blue soul level missions. They can only be obtained through a drawing. Not even the rich can purchase them. Oh, there's something like that. Lin Ming said, a tad interested. From what I heard, he played some game and finally won in the end to obtain the drawing qualifications. Yes. This game is on the 2nd floor of Black God Fort. Chapter 1432, The Wheel of Destiny. Chapter 1432, The Wheel of Destiny. Black God Fort's 2nd level? Lin Ming rubbed his chin. Then, can I also participate in this trial? Of course, Master. Anyone that enters Black God Fort has a chance to participate in the trial. As long as you pass through all the checkpoints, you will obtain a single drawing chance. In the drawing there are 3 things that can be obtained, however, the ones with the greatest chance to be drawn are mission badges. Still, these mission badges will inevitably be rare ones. Within Black God Fort, there are some mission badges that cannot be purchased with any amount of money. Luck and strength are both essential factors. If you have enough strength or you have luck that defies the heavens, then you can obtain these rare mission badges at a small price. These types of mission badges are often 100 times more valuable than those obtained with origin energy runes. Interesting. Let's go take a look. Lin Ming felt more and more that Soul White's previous speculations were correct. This Azura Road seemed as if it were a giant game area created by some supreme divine god. The rules that were governed by the heavenly Tao laws actually resembled game rules somewhat. Let's see what this Dugu Li fellow can draw out. Yes, I hope it will at least be a rare blue soul level rune. Although it isn't ours, it should still be fun to watch. Maybe Dugu Li won't want it and will be willing to sell it to us. Many people started moving towards the 2nd floor. Some rich martial artists even had thoughts of buying any runes. Between the 1st and 2nd levels of Black God Fort was not only a wide staircase but also several transmission arrays. Even if 1,000 people were to rush up, it would still be spacious. The 2nd level was several times broader than the 1st level at over 10 miles wide. The reason there was such a scene was clearly because there was a minor dimension located on the 2nd level. Even with so many people standing here, it didn't look crowded at all. At this time, in the center of the 2nd level, there was a giant platform. A tall saint man was standing above this platform, his expression excited and in high spirits. This man was clearly Dugu Li. Standing beside Dugu Li were 4 or 5 guards. These guards all wore white suits of armor and there was the image of a snowflake carved into their chest pieces. They looked dashing and heroic. Standing in front of these guards, Lin Ming could feel how terrifyingly strong they were. These guards are actually peak Divine Lord powerhouses. A peak Divine Lord powerhouse would have an extremely high status in any ordinary holy land of the Divine Realm and can even be an elder of a branch palace, but they can only be considered guards here. These aren't ordinary guards. Soul White said from beside Lin Ming. These are the City Lord's personal guards. Because they wear silver white armor and their chests have the image of a snowflake, these personal guards are called the Silver Snow Corps. There are a total of 108 guards in their forces and each one of them is an outstanding martial artist. It's impossible for the average person to hope to join them. The City of Discord's City Lord? Lin Ming was startled. In the Azura Road where slaughter was everywhere, anyone that could become the city lord of such a large city couldn't be underestimated at all. Yes, it is the city lord. In the city of discord, there are two groups of people that must not be provoked. The first is the Silver Snow Corps that acts as the city lord's personal guard, and the other are the Asuras. Azura? This was the first time Lin Ming had heard this term used like this in the Azura Road. Ever since he came here, there were far too many new terms he had learned. Yes, those martial artists who can independently complete trial tasks and complete a full set of God runes will obtain the title of Azura. Those that collect a full set of silver runes have the qualifications to become a 1-star Azura. Those that collect a full set of gold runes can have the qualifications to become a 2-star Azura. Those that obtain a full set of blue soul runes have the qualifications to become a 3-star Azura. Generally speaking, 3-star Asuras are already extremely terrifying. It is normally difficult to see them. Above that, 4-star Asuras are an even more mysterious existence. It is impossible to judge those types of characters with any type of common sense. In order to become an Azura, the God runes obtained have to come from completing certain tasks. Stealing runes and buying runes will not factor into this title. Titled Asuras all receive the approval of the Azura Road's heavenly Tao. Even a 1-star Azura can obtain a tremendous increase to their strength. In addition, those that can become a titled Azura are all extraordinary geniuses in their own right. They can often jump an entire large boundary to fight. Even ordinary holy lords will not casually think to provoke a 1-star Azura at the Divine Lord realm, much less a 2-star Azura. This is why Asuras are the second group of people that cannot be provoked in the City of Discord. And that Dugu Li who is on stage right now is a 1-star Azura. He is extremely famous in the City of Discord. Those 3 black iron ghosts seem to be bossy and brutal, but even they grovel in front of Dugu Li. This is the suppression brought by strength. I understand. Lin Ming nodded. Dugu Li's cultivation was a bit lower than the 3 black iron ghosts, but in terms of overall combat strength, Dugu Li's talent allowed him to easily best the 3 of them together. Not just that, but because Dugu Li had the title of a 1-star Azura, he had the support of the Azura Road's heavenly Tao. If he were to fight the Black Iron Ghost Triad, he would simply roll right over them. With such a difference in strength, it was no wonder no one dared to provoke these people. At this time, Dugu Li finally started to begin his drawing. This was the reason that many people had rushed to the second level. The Silver Snow Corps guards began to move a giant metal disc in. This metal disc was extremely heavy. It was unknown what sort of material it was made from. The surface of the metal disc even had stains and it exuded an extremely ancient atmosphere. This disc, Lin Ming's eyebrows shot up. He could feel that this clumsy and ordinary disc actually contained infinite mysteries. It even far surpassed the Primordius Gate. This was definitely not something that any ordinary powerhouse could hope to create. Moreover, since the Silver Snow Corps was personally moving it, it was clearly unusual. "Master, have you noticed?" Soulwhite said. "This disc isn't ordinary at all. It is called the Wheel of Destiny and will reveal just how lucky your destiny is. It is something that has been passed down from the most ancient times of the Azura Road and represents the will of the heavenly Tao. It cannot be destroyed, and even if you deliberately toss it miles away into the sea, it will still return to the world underneath the mystical rules that govern this land. If you try to attack it or destroy it, then you will be cursed and punished by the heavens. The consequences of such actions are serious and even your own destiny will fall into ruin. This is why no one ever dares move against the Wheel of Destiny. The reason that this Wheel of Destiny is placed in the City of Discord is to act as the great treasure that stabilizes the destiny of this city. In the end, there is a finite number of cities allowed to exist in the Azura Road. Without a treasure like this to stabilize the city, a city will not obtain the approval of the Azura Road's heavenly Tao and will be easily destroyed. I understand. Lin Ming nodded. He also guessed something similar. This metal disc was likely a magic tool personally created by the mysterious divine god that established this world. Of course, when that divine god forged this object, they likely did it en masse. Although this object was nothing in the eyes of that mysterious being, to the martial artists of the Azura Road, it was a representative of the heavenly Tao. On the platform, Dugu Li took a deep breath and walked in front of the Wheel of Destiny. The drawing chance he obtained was to spin the Wheel of Destiny. After spinning the Wheel of Destiny, all sorts of different results could be had. The most likely possibility was to obtain a God Rune mission badge. These types of mission badges all had extremely rare missions. The second possibility was to directly obtain a God Rune. If one could directly obtain a God Rune, then the gains were truly great. Besides the first two possibilities, there was a third. This third possibility was extremely small. Only those people who had a great destiny upon their bodies and would inevitably inherit the fate of the world could pull out such a drawing. But as for what it was that would be pulled out, no one knew. But without a doubt, this third possibility was the most valuable one of all. Its value couldn't be calculated at all. This Wheel of Destiny was something that would determine one's own destiny to a certain extent. It would be a lie to say that anyone wouldn't be nervous upon spinning it. Even though Dugu Li knew it was extremely unlikely he would pull out that third possibility, as he stepped in front of the Wheel of Destiny, those sorts of odd fantasies still rose up in his mind. With a deep breath, Dugu Li took out the assessment token he had from passing the game and then crushed it in his hands. The rune turned into a stream of light that flowed into the Wheel of Destiny. Then, the Wheel of Destiny began to shine with a brilliant light as numerous runes shimmered upon it. Without a doubt, these runes were all blue. They were blue soul level God runes. However, amongst these God runes, some were finished runes and some were badges. In addition, on some places on the disc, there were areas without any runes at all. There was only a single ancient character that read, Destiny. If one could draw this option, then one would obtain that mysterious third reward possibility. Chapter 1433, The Hunter Game. Chapter 1433, The Hunter Game. In the platform at the center of the level, Dugu Li thrust out his hand, pouring the entirety of his astral essence into the Wheel of Destiny. The runes atop the Wheel of Destiny began to emit a bright luster, unpredictably changing. Everyone's eyes were locked onto the Wheel of Destiny. Runes lit up one by one. As Dugu Li looked at these flashing lights, his mind tightened. As the runes began to dim down, the last shining rune would be the one which Dugu Li drew. Although this drawing only occurred for several breaths of time, to Dugu Li, each second seemed as long as a year. Finally, the last lit-up rune lay above a shield badge. At the end of the draw, this shield was the first reward possibility, a rare mission badge. This was the worst of the three possibilities but also the likeliest. Most people drew this result. Dugu Li's lips twitched, a bit of regret in his heart. After coming this far, he couldn't help but fantasize that he would draw out the third possibility and ascend to the heavens in a single leap. However, the fantasy was shattered. Congratulations, Lord Dugu Li. That's right, Lord Dugu Li truly has a wonderful destiny upon him. A rare blue soul badge is of inestimable value. Everyone began to congratulate Dugu Li. His status was high to begin with, and now he could go even higher. Lord Dugu Li, do you have any intention of transferring this badge? Someone asked. However, Dugu Li immediately rejected this idea. I definitely won't transfer this blue soul badge, Dugu Li said, leaving no room for argument. Although he currently didn't possess the ability to complete this blue soul badge's mission, he could have this badge temporarily held at Black God Fort until he made a breakthrough before returning at a later date to complete it. If he sold it to others, then that would be far too wasteful. After all, this type of rare badge couldn't be purchased with money. Dugu Li looked at the one who spoke up and said, if you want one, you can participate in the trial yourself. The Black God Fort smelting trial was open all year round, but there weren't many people who participated in it. This was because those that didn't possess an Azura title would find it nearly impossible to gain any advantages in the trial. Even for those with an Azura title, wanting to complete the checkpoints would require a significant amount of strength and luck. Moreover, every time one participated in this trial, there was an admission fee of 100,000 origin energy runes. For many martial artists, this amount of money left them feeling overly nervous. But today, because many people had been roused by Dugu Li, they began to stand up in abundance. Haha, since that's the case, I will participate once. I also want to give it a try. I've never participated in Black Godfort's trial before. Although the admission fee is a bit steep, I still want to experience it once. Me too. In a short period of time, 7 or 8 people had signed up. These 7 or 8 people were all outstanding individuals amongst their level. Many of them were just a single step away from becoming an Azura. As long as they had another year or so, they would be able to complete the necessary steps to obtain an Azura title. Upon seeing this scene, the 3 black iron ghosts that came into conflict with Lin Ming were also enthused. They all looked eager to give this a try. Big brother, let's go and try too. 300,000 origin energy runes isn't a small number, but if we can pass the trial our gains will be great. Still, the chances of us passing this trial are extremely slim. Currently, there are a lot of people participating, and before the trial really begins we will have to struggle against these trial challenges, making things even harder for us. After all, none of these challenges are weaker than we are. If we lose, we'll have lost 300,000 origin energy runes. That will take a great deal of work and time for us to earn back. The leader of the 3 black iron ghosts hesitated. In truth, he understood that even if the 3 of them worked together in the trial, their chances of success were nearly 0. However, after some others heard these words they were left speechless. The so-called great deal of work and time was actually extorting, robbing, strong-arming, and murdering others. As the 3 black iron ghosts were wavering, not too far away, a human youth raised his hand and said, "I would also like to participate." Millimeter? The 3 black iron ghosts were shocked. This boy, isn't he the fellow who bought the Blue Soul mission badge? This little beast is far too rowdy. To think that he would dare scold us Black Iron Ghost Triad in front of so many people. In all these years, those arrogant fools that dared to provoke us have all died. The boss of the 3 Black Iron Ghosts sneered. He wanted to wait until they left to deal with Lin Ming, but he never imagined Lin Ming would jump into the tiger's den. He also wants to enter the trial. How interesting. He doesn't know the rules of this area and yet he dares to participate in the Black God Fort smelting trial. In this world, how can there be someone who attacks those that are stronger than themselves? Even a 1-star Azura could fail this sort of trial. Moreover, Lin Ming didn't have too many runes on him right now. For him to toss out 100,000 origin energy runes to participate in the Black God Fort trial was far too conspicuous. Many people looked over to Lin Ming, including even the ogre vendor who sold Lin Ming the Blue Soul mission badge. In his eyes, Lin Ming seemed like a pretty little flower that wasted money everywhere and anywhere. If he participates then this trial might be fun. We should make sure to look after him. Haha, third brother is right. Big brother, we also need to participate. Millimeter, the boss of the 3 Black Iron Ghosts was originally unsure, but now that he was provoked by Lin Ming he directly raised his hand and said, "We will register too." The 3 Black Iron Ghosts are also entering. After that human boy decided to participate, the 3 Black Iron Ghosts also decided to join in. This is clearly because of him. It seems they want to mess with him in the trial. That's right. This Black God Fort trial isn't something that just any ordinary martial artist can play around in. That human youth is far too young and naive, and now he also has to deal with the Black Iron Ghost Triad. Everyone began to discuss amongst each other. None of them thought that Dugu Li's drawing would cause so many hopeless trial challengers to lose their minds and register. This would only make the trial even more intense and difficult to complete. What a pity. They should have given me those origin energy runes instead of just throwing them away here. Some martial artists sighed. Lin Ming's thoughts stirred as he heard all of this. Soulwhite, where do the origin energy runes used to purchase mission badges and pay for the trial entrance fee go? Are they taken by the City of Discord's City Lord? Soulwhite shook his head. It's not like that. If that were the case then the City Lord would have accumulated an unimaginable amount of wealth. All of the origin energy runes are completely recycled by the Azura Road's Heavenly Dao. It seems as if these origin energy runes are used to support the continued revolution of power for the heavenly Tao here. Some people even suspect that the entire Azura Road is an incomparably massive array formation and the trial challengers are placed in this array formation and have to follow its rules. Lin Ming was stunned. Although this sort of perspective was shocking, the more he thought about it the more reasonable it sounded. Master, the 3 black iron ghosts are specifically targeting you. Although they cannot do anything to you in Black God Fort, the trial is different. Master must be extra careful. Millimeter, I got it. Lin Ming chuckled. Is there no one else registering? Then, all registered martial artists, please step up to the platform. A silver-armored martial artist said from above the platform. He was part of the Silver Snow Corps. At the end, there were a total of 15 martial artists that had registered. Lin Ming quietly stepped onto the platform. Beside him were the 3 black iron ghosts. It could only be said that enemies often crossed paths. Hehe, little boy from the human race, us grandpas will take good care of you. You should try to put up a little struggle. Don't give up so fast, ha ha ha. On the platform, the 3 black iron ghosts were sinisterly smiling. And at this time, the Silver Snow Corps martial artist stepped in front of the martial artists. He said without any expression, now I shall announce the rules. There are some among you who already know them, but I shall repeat them anyways. The trial you shall be participating in is in truth a game. This game is called the Hunter Game. After 20 breaths of time, all of you will be transmitted to a separate dimensional realm. There, all of you are hunters and all of you are prey. Your goal is to hunt as many prey down as possible and obtain the trophies from their bodies. These are the trophies. As the Silver Snow Guard spoke, he flung several black objects towards the participants. Lin Ming took the trophy in his hand and looked at it. It was actually a black skull. This black skull was very heavy and exuded an extremely fierce feeling. The Silver Snow Guard continued to say, this is a skull badge. The trial challengers that join this game may hunt each other and steal each other's skull badges. In addition, within this dimensional realm there are many prey that come in all different shapes and abilities. If you kill them you may also obtain skull badges. Of course, these prey may be hunters themselves that hunt you instead. Their strength is decided by the strongest amongst you. Once a trial challenger loses all their skull badges or they are severely wounded and unable to fight, they will be considered as eliminated from the game and directly transmitted out of the dimensional realm. Within the dimensional realm you may freely fight. However, you may not kill others. For every person you kill, that will subtract 2 skull badges from your count. Consider your actions before you take them. Alright, I have finished explaining the rules. When the game ends, your result will be judged based on the number of badges you have collected. If you surpass 50 skull badges, then you will have the chance to draw a blue soul level mission badge. If you surpass 100 badges, then you will obtain a blue soul level draw chance as well as a zenith black draw chance. The Silver Snow Guard and the other participants didn't have any reaction to this, but Lin Ming was startled. You can also qualify for a zenith black drawing? Yes, Master. If you perfectly complete the Black God Fort smelting trial, then you will obtain a zenith black draw chance. But, I haven't heard of anyone managing to accomplish this in all these years. Chapter 1434, Hunters and the Hunted. Chapter 1434, Hunters and the Hunted. Shua. After the Silver Snow Guard announced the rules, a bright silver door emerged high above the platform. This was the portal to the dimensional realm. Begin. Haha, we'll have results soon. The game lasts for 14 to 16 hours at most, but the truth is that several days will pass inside. This was not the first time that the martial artists present had watched the Hunter game. Time flowed differently within the dimensional realm. To martial artists that lived such long lives, 14 to 16 hours was only a brief period of meditation. The Silver Snow Guard said just now that the difficulty of the Hunter game is based upon the strongest trial challenger that joined. If so, won't everyone else who has lower cultivations suffer a great loss? That human boy has the lowest cultivation amongst everyone that entered, he's only at the divine transformation realm. As for the other martial artists in the Hunter game, they are all at the middle Divine Lord realm or above. There are even peak late Divine Lord Masters and those that have touched upon the threshold of the Holy Lord realm. That's right. This is why the Hunter game normally has participants who have similar cultivations. Those with weaker cultivations will suffer a loss. As everyone was speaking, many people present looked towards Lin Ming. This Hunter game was extremely difficult to begin with. Even if a peak genius were to go in, they would still need to be cautious. If the difficulty was even higher, then it would be almost impossible to complete. Master, your cultivation will have you suffer a loss in the game. Soul White said. It doesn't matter. Lin Ming waved his hand. Didn't you tell me before this that at the start, the prey within the world of the game are extremely weak, but will slowly strengthen? And the rate at which they grow stronger is decided by the cultivations of the trial challengers within? Yes. Then I don't need to worry. Soul White, do you know of the martial artists that are participating? Lin Ming asked as he moved towards the transmission portal. Out of all the participants, there is only a single Azura and he is a 1-star. It is unlikely for him to pass this trial, and as for the others, their chances are even lower. In order to pass this trial and earn the chance to draw a Blue Soul mission badge, one usually needs to be a 2-star Azura. Sometimes, even 2-star Asuras are defeated. As for 1-star Asuras, only outstanding ones like Lord Dugu Li can succeed with a great deal of luck. I see. As Lin Ming said these last words, he stepped into the dimensional realm. Light spun around him. In the next moment, he had arrived at a completely different space. The other trial challengers all stepped through the portal and were transmitted to different places in the dimensional realm. The horizon was blurry at first, but everything began to gradually clear up. In front of Lin Ming were vast, nearly endless grasslands. And scattered over these grasslands were all sorts of black rocks as well as the bones of beasts. What a large world, Lin Ming concluded as he swept his sense all around him. He recalled the Silver Snow Guard's instructions. He would need to gather a total of 50 skull badges in order to be considered as having passed the Blue Soul level checkpoint. Every trial challenger only had a single skull badge. All the trial challengers together only had a dozen some skull badges. In order to gather more, they had to be obtained from the prey here. However, these beasts wouldn't be easy to deal with. According to the Silver Snow Guard, how powerful the prey were was decided by the trial challenger with the highest cultivation. Although Lin Ming was confident in his own strength, the trial in front of him was intentionally aimed at geniuses to begin with. If the difficulty of the trial suddenly rose to the Divine Lord realm, this would be disadvantageous for Lin Ming. Even if he had the ability to gather 50 badges, anything more than that would be impossible. Lin Ming wasn't satisfied with this result. Thus, Lin Ming made a decision. That was, before he killed any prey in this game world, to eliminate every other trial challenger participating. If so, then this Hunter game's difficulty would be lowered to the level of a divine transformation cultivation. If everyone knew that Lin Ming had made such a decision before the Hunter game even began, they would all think he was crazy. As Lin Ming thought like this, he flew into the skies. These grasslands were extremely vast and the grass was also very deep. In some places it was as high as his waist and in some place it was over his head. If a martial artist was hidden in these grasslands and was also extremely far away and restraining their aura, then finding them would be difficult. Even though Lin Ming could eventually find them with his powerful divine sense, he would have to spend a considerable amount of time and effort. Thus, Lin Ming chose the easier and most direct method, to fly through the skies. At this time, dozens of miles away from Lin Ming in an open land, 3 Saint Race martial artists were gathered. These 3 were the Black Iron Ghost Triad. This is the world of the Hunter game. I've heard about it countless times before, but this is my first time seeing it for myself. The admission fee for the Hunter game was simply far too high. Because the Black Iron Ghost Triad knew that it was almost impossible for them to clear it, they had never attempted it. Millimeter, even if we aren't successful this time, we at least explored this area. In the future we will definitely become Asuras and we will have to pass this checkpoint sooner or later. The 300,000 runes can't be considered wasted. Hehe, of course it's not a waste. Since we're here, let's have our fill of the hunt. Big brother, do you think we should go look for that boy now, or should we wait 1 or 2 days and have that boy gather some skull badges for us before we look for him again? The third brother of the black iron ghosts licked his lips, his tone a bit impatient. Of course we look for him now. That boy can't necessarily last for a long time. The prey here are extremely strong and they only become stronger over time. 1 or 2 days from now, that boy will probably be eliminated. If so, that is far too merciful for him. Even if he wasn't eliminated, he should only be able to obtain a few skull badges anyways. Good idea. I also think we should look for him as soon as possible. I can't wait. Unfortunately, we cannot kill him here, but crippling him isn't a problem. In this dimensional realm, the Silver Snow Guard only discouraged killing others, he didn't outright forbid it. If someone killed someone else, they would have 2 skull badges deducted. Millimeter, it's not worth it to kill him. 2 skull badges is far more valuable than his life. But the problem here is, where do we find him? If that boy decided to find somewhere to hide and also restrains his aura, then it won't be easy to find him. That really is a problem. This was something that the Black Iron Ghost Triad's boss was also troubled about. None of them knew just how they should begin searching for Lin Ming. But then, the Black Iron Ghost third brother was suddenly startled as he shouted out, "Big brother, look over there." The third brother pointed in a direction. In the far-off horizon, there was a small spot flying against the sun, just several dozen miles away. Martial artists had extremely good eyesight. Even at such a far distance they could still clearly see what that spot in the skies was. That is a trial challenger, a human? The Black Iron Ghost Triad boss poured astral essence into his eyes. He immediately saw the person's facial features. It's actually Lin Ming. That boy is just looking to die. Is it really him? Why would he be flying so high? Is he deliberately exposing his position? Just what is wrong with this world? There is someone that isn't scared of dying and wants to fly up to hasten their end instead? This boy is a foolish idiot. No matter what he's thinking, since he wants to die so badly, then let's help him. Let's go. The Black Iron Ghost Triad didn't fly into the skies. Rather, they stayed close to the ground, rapidly rushing towards Lin Ming. Currently, as many martial artists in this trial were hiding their whereabouts, anyone that flew into the skies stood out like a firefly in the dark night. Chapter 1435, Many Wolves, Little Meat. Chapter 1435, Many Wolves, Little Meat. They're here, 1, 2, 3, 4 waves of people. It seems I'm really welcome here. Lin Ming mockingly said. Out of all the trial challengers, Lin Ming had the lowest cultivation. In the eyes of the others, he was like a piece of meat that could be butchered however they pleased. Out of the 4 different waves of people that were coming, 2 were alone and 2 were in groups. One of the groups was the Black Iron Ghost Triad and the other was a couple. When they passed through the portal they had held hands and gone together. Like this, they wouldn't be separated in the space transmission passage. Whoosh. The couple was the first to arrive. A monster youth followed close behind them. This monster youth had pale skin and sharp, pointed ears. Although he could be called a youth, he was actually around 100 years old. His nickname was Charming. With his outstanding strength and fair yet handsome appearance, he was well received by the many women within the City of Discord. Hehe, do you want to eat everything yourself? The monster youth grinned. There are too many wolves and too little meat. Just a single skull badge and there are even more people catching up here. Who can obtain this skull badge will all depend on your ability. The husband and wife couple in front of the monster youth drew their weapons, as if they wanted to compete for Lin Ming's skull badge. To them, Lin Ming's badge was already a piece of fat placed in the pot. The only question right now was who had the ability to eat it. Shua. Right after, 2 more waves of people arrived. The Black Iron Ghost Triad was amongst them. For a time, besides Lin Ming, there were 7 people here in total. It was said that when enemies met, eyes would turn red. When the Black Iron Ghost third brother saw Lin Ming, he demonically grinned as he kneaded his fists again and again. Brat, Heaven's path was there, but you chose not to take it, and instead you would rather break through the gates of hell. Although we won't kill you today because of the rules, we will still beat you into a cripple. Once we leave, we'll tidy you up some more. We'll shatter your bones and meridians until you're crawling like a dead dog on the street. Ha ha ha. A pack of wolves surrounding a single piece of meat. There's just one skull badge and so many of us here. It will be impossible for us to divide it. Do you really think we should fight each other over a single skull badge? The monster youth glanced over at the Black Iron Ghost Triad and also looked at Lin Ming, his voice calm. If he dared to operate by himself in the City of Discord, he inevitably had a strong foundation of his own. If they were to really fight here, he would not be weaker than any of the other three parties. Hee, everyone, give him to us brothers. The Black Iron Ghost Triad boss spoke up. Us brothers already have a grudge against this boy and we just happen to want to settle it here today. As for that skull badge, it isn't too important to us. Honestly speaking, out of everyone here, none of us really have a chance of passing the game checkpoints. In my opinion, aren't most of you here to gain some experience to prepare yourself for next time? Haha, none of that matters to me. I've long since had the strength to become a 1-star Azura, but I simply didn't have the time for it. I'm really thinking I should stay here to collect the 50 skull badges and complete this trial, the monster youth confidently said, his arrogant voice passing out far and wide. The Black Iron Ghost Triad boss eyebrows shot up. This monster fellow was far too rampant. Just what sort of awesome hero did he think he was? Although the boss found this unbearable, he didn't dispute those words. Instead, the Black Iron Triad boss said, "Fine, you can pass whatever you want. We'll let you have the skull badge, we don't want it." Haha, what a wonderful idea, it's a deal. The monster youth smiled wide. Of course, if he wanted the skull badge he also had to obtain the agreement of the other two parties. However, the monster youth paused for a moment. He suddenly turned to Lin Ming, an interested look in his eyes. "Before anything happens, I have something I want to ask you. I've been curious, why were you flying through the skies? In this hunter game, no matter how I see it, only a mentally retarded child would do something like that. Even a fool knows what consequences flying through the skies will bring. Even so, you seem to have done so intentionally. Was it to draw us to you? You have succeeded, but, just what is your motive?" Hehe, that's simple. He probably understands that it is impossible for him to pass the checkpoint, thus he deliberately attracted a group of people to him so that they would somehow engage in a group melee. Then, he would be able to take advantage of the chaos. "This idea of yours was far too dumb," one of the Black Iron Ghosts sarcastically mocked. Lin Ming chuckled, and his chuckle was very calm. "There is no other reason I did so than to draw you all here. I flew through the sky and exposed myself on purpose to save myself a great deal of trouble." How interesting. The monster youth rubbed his chin, his wide and large eyes shining as he stared at Lin Ming as if he wanted to see through his body. "The more I know, the less I understand. This is the world of the hunter game and also the first time you have come here, so it's impossible for you to have set up any traps beforehand to deal with us. Could it be that you actually thought you could deal with all of us by yourself?" "Correct." Lin Ming snapped his fingers. "Your presence here increases the difficulty of the game by a great deal. I admit that with all of you here, I lack confidence to be able to pass the checkpoint, thus I made the decision to send all of you out and reduce the difficulty." "What?" As Lin Ming spoke, the monster race youth as well as everyone else was left completely dumbfounded. Was this boy insane? Where did he get the crazy idea of eliminating all of them? Well, to put it in simpler terms, Lin Ming took out the Phoenix Blood Spear. On the spear point, the power of thunder and fire began weaving together. "My strength is greater than all of yours combined." As Lin Ming spoke, his figure vanished like ghosts and demons in the night. "This is bad. Be careful." The sudden change left everyone panic-stricken. All of them began to immediately retreat. And at this time, the Black Iron Ghost third brother suddenly felt a chill crawl down his back. A thick killing intent had quietly appeared from behind him, locking onto his entire body. Reflexively he took out a saber from his spatial ring to slash behind him, however. Lin Ming's speed was far too fast, a level that surpassed his ability to respond to. The moment the third brother slashed out, he felt a cool feeling at his back and a sharp pain as a spear thrust through his chest like a viper, sticking outwards. Blood sparkled on the spear point, dazzling to the eyes. The Black Iron Ghost Triad's third brother was pierced through by Lin Ming's spear. The tough body of a Saint race martial artist was sliced apart like raw beef beneath the Phoenix blood spear. The hell! Just 200 feet away, the monster youth was able to clearly see everything that happened. To him, Lin Ming's speed was not much different from teleportation. These were the space laws. Only a human martial artist could use the laws to the extreme. Although saints were fast, they couldn't be faster than the laws. And there was also that casual and light spear strike. Without any grand martial skill behind it and only some true essence poured into the attack, that spear had been able to pierce through the body of the Black Iron Ghost's third brother. This striking force left the monster youth frightened. Although the Black Iron Ghost's third brother only had ordinary strength, he was still a Saint race martial artist and his martial arts came from tempering his body. No matter how weak he was, since he had cultivated to the Saint Lord realm, his flesh and bones should be as hard as divine iron. In addition, there was also astral essence protecting his body, and yet he had still been so easily pierced through by Lin Ming's spear. Just what sort of explosive force was behind that attack? First, Lin Ming suddenly pulled out the Phoenix blood spear. The reason that his attack had so easily pierced through the Black Iron Ghost's third brother was because of his true essence and because his mortal strength had reached several 100 million jins after he opened the 8 inner hidden gates. And another reason was that Lin Ming had poured his battle spirit into the Phoenix blood spear. Towards the Saint race martial artists that were weak in the aspect of the soul, a battle spirit was a great advantage of humans. Die! Lin Ming coldly shouted. He smashed his palm into the Black Iron Ghost third brother's chest. This simple palm strike was actually the most insidious martial skill in Lin Ming's arsenal, the pulse-cutting palm. After not using this attack for so many years, this martial skill now struck the Black Iron Ghost third brother. Lin Ming didn't hold back at all. With a light cracking sound, true essence violently crashed into the Black Iron Ghost third brother's meridians and bones, instantly severing them and cutting off his blood vitality. Killing was discouraged in this game through loss of skull badges. Thus, Lin Ming decided to follow the choice that the Black Iron Ghost Triad had taken. He wouldn't kill them, but he would completely cripple them. To a martial artist, this was a fate far worse than death, especially for the Black Iron Ghost Triad that had done all sorts of evil acts. The three of them had made innumerable enemies in the City of Discord. If they were to lose their cultivations, then their fates could be imagined. His attack is so strong and ruthless. The monster youth was bewildered. In just 2 moves, this human youth had completely wasted the Black Iron Ghost third brother's martial arts. This sort of clean and merciless strike was definitely not something that a frail and flowery youth raised in the safety of a great family could do. This was something that only someone who constantly walked on the edge of life and death could accomplish, someone who had killed countless opponents. His skill was extraordinary and the terrifying strength and killing intent hiding within his body was nearly limitless. Although this youth seemed like a modest gentleman most of the time, once he erupted, he was like a bloodthirsty tyrannical beast, savage and brutal. Run! This thought instantly appeared in the monster youth's mind. He could no longer care about why Lin Ming was so strong at such a low cultivation. All he knew was that if he didn't run away right now he would absolutely suffer the same fate as the Black Iron Ghost third brother. However, as soon as the monster youth made this decision he felt his body shake. An invisible strength had struck him like an arrow and entered into his body, marking his bones and meridians. What is this? The monster youth was shocked but immediately reacted. Is this a tracking god rune? In the Azura Road, there were many auxiliary god runes. Tracking god runes were one of these. Once they were planted they were extremely difficult to resolve. But now, the monster youth could feel that what Lin Ming planted inside his body was not one of these god runes but a self-created tracking mark. It isn't a rune, it is a battle spirit mark, but the effects are the same. The monster youth instantly understood what happened. Lin Ming had planted a tracking mark in his body to hunt him down, This was a true hunter game. Unfortunately for them who had participated in this game, they were not hunters, they were the prey. As a monster race martial artist, although his talent in battle spirits couldn't compare to a human's, he was still far superior to a saint. He immediately reacted, wanting to erase this battle spirit mark. However, just as his sense touched upon the battle spirit mark, he felt his arms and feet turn cold. This battle spirit mark flickered with a deep blue light, like the purest of blue jades. This was clearly a blue soul battle spirit. Blue soul battle spirit? Are you fucking joking with me? The monster youth was horrified. His own battle spirit was only at the elementary gold level, and yet he had bumped into a blue soul battle spirit. This couldn't even be described as hitting a stone with an egg. Chapter 1436, Self-Explosion. Chapter 1436, Self-Explosion. On the battlefield, Lin Ming's figure flashed and he disappeared from sight. He was like a death reaper that haunted the night, wantonly harvesting life. His speed was far too fast. From crippling the Black Iron Ghost third brother to taking his spatial ring, this had only taken a fraction of a second. The moment that people saw blood splash out, the Black Iron Ghost third brother's crippled body was already falling down from the air. Third brother. The Black Iron boss roared out. Although the Black Iron Ghost triad had done all sorts of evils in their lives, they still had a bond between them because they were true blood brothers. Now that they saw their blood brother being wasted in front of their eyes, even the most cold-hearted individual couldn't remain unresponsive. His crippled third brother. The Black Iron second brother shouted, his eyes turning red. Don't be impulsive. We are not his match at all. The Black Iron boss could only remain as calm as he could. At this time, the only one he could save was himself. As he sent a sound transmission to his second brother, he fled with all his strength. But at this time, a voice of death quietly echoed in his ears like the whispers of the end. You are second. Fuck, I'll fight with you. The Black Iron boss was a ruthless individual. Since he clearly knew he wasn't able to run away, he erupted his astral essence to the limit, protecting all of his vital points as he swept his saber out towards Lin Ming's waist. But as his saber was slashing outwards, he felt himself suddenly slow down. All around him, time was distorting at incredible degrees. Time laws. The Black Iron boss was nearly frightened to death. As a saint race martial artist, his attainments in the laws were nearly nothing at all. A powerful saint martial artist could use their terrifying strength to crush through the laws and break free from the shackles of time or pierce through the void, but the Black Iron boss was far from accomplishing this. Who? Lin Ming appeared behind the Black Iron boss like ghosts and gods. His left hand grasped the Phoenix blood spear and his right hand formed a fist that came crashing down at the Black Iron boss' spine. Body-tearing bone-shattering fist. The body-tearing bone-shattering fist was originally a body transformation system martial skill. And now that Lin Ming had fully opened the 8 inner hidden gates and had also seen the threshold of the 9 stars of the Tao Palace, this punch could even pulverize the void. If this fist struck someone, especially a place as frail as the spine, even a saint race martial artist wouldn't be able to withstand it. Catcher. With a loud cracking sound, a wild and brutal vibration force spread through the Black Iron boss' entire spine. A horrifying destructive power began to ravage his bones, marrow, and nerve. The Black Iron boss cried out in misery, his entire body shook and his head drooped downwards. His entire spine had been ruined by Lin Ming. Even though saint race martial artists had high regenerative abilities, this sort of wound was nearly the same as crippling them. Even so, Lin Ming accompanied it with a pulse-cutting palm. He would not allow his opponent any chance to stand back up. After all, a wound to the spine could be cured with good enough medicines. But, a wound created from the pulse-cutting palm would require a great world king to spend a great deal of effort in order to concoct the correct pills to heal it. And, it was impossible for the Black Iron Ghost Triad to obtain such medicines with their abilities. Rather, it was better to say that before they could find the necessary medicines, they would have already died a horrible death in the City of Discord. Peng! The Black Iron boss' spatial ring exploded. Lin Ming picked up the skull badge from the wreckage. As for the Black Iron boss himself, He dropped next to his third brother like a pile of rotten meat. Lin Ming didn't even pause for half a step. The space beneath him shrank to an inch and he instantly crossed 100 miles. In the next moment he had overtaken the last of the Black Iron Ghost Triad. "Ah, I'll perish with you." The Black Iron second brother's eyes were red with rage. His entire body began to swell up like a balloon. The astral essence within him rumbled like a volcano, ready to explode at any moment. Self-explosion? Lin Ming's pupils shrank. Some martial artists, before they died, could galvanize the entirety of their inner world, their energy, and their blood vitality to explode. This explosive attack was 10 times stronger than their all-out strike. Even a martial artist that was an entire boundary higher than them would have to evade such an attack, otherwise it would be easy to be wounded. However, this sort of martial skill was far too vicious. It was a completely suicidal attack to bring both parties down. Normally, very few martial artists would study such a martial skill. Only those death-sworn martial artists and ruffians would ever think of learning such a move. "Brat, I may die but I will drag you down with me." The Black Iron second brother's face was completely distorted like a deformed monster. This wasn't because he was angry but because the astral essence within his body was nearing the point of explosion. Blood vitality began gushing out from all over him, and his muscles, bones, and meridians were already overflowing with chaotic astral essence in a complete mess. His body resembled a large meatball, disgusting and monstrous. Whoosh! Whoosh! The Black Iron second brother's 4 limbs stretched out. They suddenly turned soft as they swung towards Lin Ming like tentacles. During the battle at the Chaotic Blood Continent, there were Saint race martial artists that had used similar abilities. As a race who thoroughly cultivated the body transformation technique, they could make their bodies as hard as diamonds or as soft as noodles in order to bind their enemies. Blood energy lockdown. The Black Iron second brother bit down on the tip of his tongue and spat out a large mouthful of blood essence. This was 30 to 40% of his blood essence. Since he was going all out with his life on the line, he no longer had the scruples to care about this. As his blood essence burned, the Black Iron second brother's entire body erupted with a fog of blood. Then, Lin Ming felt his body slow down. It was like his entire bloodline was being attracted to the Black Iron second brother, wanting to leave his own body. Under this traction of blood energy, Lin Ming felt like he had fallen into a swamp. His movements slowed down, making it hard for him to move. This was the Black Iron second brother's so-called blood energy lockdown. Although it was an attack made by combusting his blood essence, Lin Ming could still easily work his way loose. But, in the brief moment that Lin Ming was doing so, the second brother's 4 limbs wrapped themselves around him. "Now that I've got you, you are dead. No matter how strong you are, we are going to die together." The Black Iron second brother maniacally laughed. At the moment before his death he had fallen into madness. Even though Lin Ming was held down by the Black Iron second brother, he still remained as calm as before. He indifferently said, "Your self-explosion trick is useless against me." Lin Ming's 10 fingers flashed as he formed hundreds and thousands of seals. Divine seal art, God-forbidding seal. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. These God-forbidding seals instantly sank into the Black Iron second brother's inflated body. The God-forbidding seal was the first technique listed in the divine seal art. Every seal was in truth a miniature black hole. Lin Ming had once used the God-forbidding seal to break through Frost Dream's Dream Soul immortal melody and exterminate the spiritual god of faith energy that she had summoned. At that time, in terms of strength, Frost Dream was no weaker than Lin Ming, and the laws she displayed had reached an inconceivable degree. Now, when Lin Ming and the Black Iron second brother were compared to each other, they were on completely different levels in terms of strength and skill. At that time, Lin Ming had forcefully blocked the spiritual god of faith energy, so what could this self-explosion skill from the Black Iron second brother hope to do against him? Kai kai kai. The God-forbidding seals were like a pack of starving beasts as they wildly swallowed up the astral essence and blood vitality within the Black Iron second brother's body. Black hole seals originally had the ability to swallow all power. They could even swallow up the divine dream law's summoned power of faith, much less something as simple as astral essence and blood vitality. What? The black iron second brother's complexion changed. His body actually began to shrink and wither away. The hundreds of God-forbidding seals that entered his body were wildly swallowing up all his energy. Currently, the black iron second brother's body was like a giant water bag, and these God-forbidding seals were like hundreds of holes that constantly drained him. Explode. Explode. Why can't I explode? The black iron second brother's appearance was fierce and demented. This is impossible. Once my saint demon disintegration art starts, not even I can stop it. Just how are you doing this? In just several breaths of time, the black iron second brother's body had shrunk to an even smaller size than his original self. Let alone exploding with energy, his astral essence and blood vitality were at pitifully low levels, making him look like he was in the last waning years of his life. The divine seal art included the laws of sealing and also the laws of swallowing. Once everything was swallowed into these miniature black holes, it would naturally be thoroughly sealed away. The astral essence and blood vitality within the black iron second brother's body had all been swallowed up and sealed away. Naturally, he no longer had the strength to explode his body. This is it. What a shame. Lin Ming forcefully broke through the 4 limbs binding him. These 4 broken limbs didn't leak any blood at all. The blood vitality within them had already been cleanly swallowed by the God-forbidding seals. I am unwilling. The black iron second brother shivered, his face white. Could there be any situation more miserable than how he was now? He couldn't escape, and the suicidal self-explosion technique he tried to use had been easily resolved. To him, this was extremely pathetic. You're the third one. Pulse-cutting palm. Lin Ming thrust out his palm. With a light cracking sound, the black iron second brother's bones and meridians shattered as he fell to the floor. Like this, the black iron ghost triad had been completely eliminated by Lin Ming. Lin Ming took the last skull badge. Now that he had obtained 3 skull badges, in addition to his own, he had 4. Still, he was 46 skull badges away from completing the Blue Soul level trial checkpoint and 96 skull badges away from completing the Zenith Black level checkpoint. Although it seemed the number of skull badges for the Zenith Black level checkpoint was only twice that of the Blue Soul level checkpoint, Lin Ming knew that the difficulty was more than double, because as more time passed, obtaining skull badges would become increasingly hard. I should look for the remaining skull badges. Lin Ming glanced around. Everyone near the battlefield had already fled away without even half a shadow remaining. A smart choice, but unfortunately, it was useless. When Lin Ming had cut down the Black Iron Ghost Triad, he had simultaneously placed a Blue Soul Battle Spirit mark on their bodies. In this dimension realm, no matter how far they tried to run, in Lin Ming's eyes they would be like giant beacons of light in the darkness. Like this, the true hunter game could begin. However, Lin Ming didn't immediately hunt down these people. Instead, his figure flashed and he arrived above a field of tall grass. As he looked down, he icily said, "You've been watching for a long time. Come out." The winds rustled the high grass, but there was no sound of movement from within the field. Lin Ming pointed his phoenix blood spear downwards. On the spear point, the light of thunder and fire sizzled. Then, "We can only fight now." "Wait, wait." A deep voice echoed out. The tall grass was separated and a monster martial artist covered head to toe in green hair slowly walked out. He had an extremely ugly complexion right now. This green-furred monster martial artist was much shorter than ordinary monster race martial artists. Standing in front of Lin Ming, he was an entire head shorter. Chapter 1437, 1-star Azura. Chapter 1437, 1-star Azura. Lin Ming looked at the green-furred martial artist. This martial artist looked like a monkey with lustrous green skin that shined like moss. His body was thin and unremarkable. Compared to the handsome monster youth before, this monk-like martial artist was far less pleasing to the eye. Even so, Lin Ming felt an unusual atmosphere from him. Lin Ming fell to the ground. The two of them were only 100 feet away, and they had both locked tightly onto each other. The monster youth's face was extremely grim. He was revolving his aura to the limit. "You actually managed to find me, what a freak." This monster youth had been hiding in the tall grass from the very start. He had restrained his aura, and he was also exceptionally skilled at camouflage, concealment, and sneak attacks. He had long seen Lin Ming flying in the sky, but he hadn't chased after him. Instead, he hid beneath Lin Ming and waited for the other trial challengers to arrive and circle Lin Ming. His plan had been to use Lin Ming as bait and tempt more people to gather here. Then, once they were all exhausted from fighting each other, he would enter the fray and take all the profits. This was the so-called the mantis stalks the cicada while unaware of the bird behind. The green-furred monster youth had made the correct choice and also the wisest choice. However, his one mistake was that he never imagined Lin Ming would be this strong. This Lin Ming had exterminated the Black Iron Ghost Triad at the very start, and his ruthless and merciless tactics left one scared. Not just that, but Lin Ming had also left a tracking mark on everyone else's body. This green-furred monster was originally a skilled assassin that specializing in concealing himself and tracking others. He naturally recognized that the tracking mark Lin Ming left behind was extremely difficult to undo, thus he had remained motionless. Even so, he had been detected by Lin Ming. "You've been watching for a long time already." Lin Ming waved the phoenix blood spear. He had already noticed this green-furred monster martial artist at the start but had simply been feigning ignorance. "My concealment technique is difficult to detect for even a holy lord or half-step world king. How could you have such sharp perception?" The green-furred monster youth tightly clutched onto a nearly transparent weapon. This weapon seemed to merge with the space around it, hidden in the void. If one didn't look carefully, it would be difficult to spot. This was a dagger. From watching this small monster martial artist fellow in front of him, Lin Ming could feel the deep killing intent hiding in his body. This monster youth was likely some sort of master assassin. "You're an assassin? Your aura is quite strong, much stronger than those 7 other people just now. I heard that there was a 1-star Azura that participated in this trial. Was it you?" The green-furred monster youth remained silent, not answering. But Lin Ming was certain that this green-furred monster was the sole 1-star Azura out of everyone that had come. In the Azura Road, every person who possessed the title of Azura was strong in their own right. Moreover, the title itself could directly increase their strength. A 1-star Azura could increase a martial artist's strength by a small boundary. In other words, a late divine lord 1-star Azura would be equal to a half-step holy lord. Very good. I've long been wanting to experience just what sort of strength the title of a 1-star Azura can grant you. This hunter game is something that I must win no matter what. Lin Ming didn't plan on sparing anyone here. Out of the 10+ trial challengers here, he would eliminate them all one at a time, leaving no behind. Who? Behind Lin Ming, the phantom of the heretical god tree appeared. Atop the heretical god tree, thunder and flame wove together as a wild energy howled through the air. A deep blue light lit up on Lin Ming's phoenix blood spear. This was the light of a blue soul battle spirit. 6th level of the thunder and fire laws, as well as a blue soul battle spirit. The green-furred monster youth's face darkened. If this human youth was truly at the middle divine transformation realm, then perhaps he was the top genius of a great race. The monster race martial artist simply didn't have enough time to react. Lin Ming was already rushing towards him. Lin Ming's spear thrust out, causing a terrifying wave of thunder and flame to rise up. The void shook. The winds and clouds shifted. In an instant, all the tall grass around the green-furred monster youth turned into ash, and even the swamp around him was scorched black. Heavenly Tao Judgment. Bang! A terrifying explosion swallowed the entirety of space for 10 miles. A brilliant flare lit up the heavens, becoming the only light between the heavens and the earth. The monster youth wanted to dodge, but he was caught up and twisted in this horrifying power. His flesh and blood was unable to resist the tyrannical power of thunder and fire, and his entire body ignited. In the next moment, he split apart. Millimeter. Lin Ming was startled. This green-furred monster youth was quite strong. Lin Ming didn't believe that a single strike would be able to kill him. Moreover, when that green-furred monster youth's body had blown up in the explosion of thunder and fire, Lin Ming hadn't felt his soul aura at all. This is a substitute. This thought instantly flashed through Lin Ming's mind. At the same time, he felt a deep killing intent hone in on him. This killing intent was like a sharp needle. Although it seemed common, it was incomparably sharp, as if it were about to pierce through Lin Ming's protective true essence. Without thinking, Lin Ming recklessly released Grand Mist energy from his inner world. Grand Mist space. Bang! As the heavy Grand Mist energy spread outwards, all space for a radius of 100 feet turned into an impregnable fortress of absolute space. If an ordinary martial artist were to try to enter, they would be directly pressed into goo by the immense pressure of the Grand Mist space, let alone have any chance to attack. Ka. The monster youth's dagger slashed out like the claws of a death god. However, after it only cut through 3 tiny wisps of Grand Mist energy, the speed of his attack rapidly fell and his striking power had also mostly dissipated. What? The monster youth was panic-stricken. And at this time, Lin Ming had already reached him. There is no place for you to run, Xiao. A brilliant spear light enveloped the monster youth, swallowing all. At this time, on the second level of Black God Fort, many martial artists were gathered. Some were meditating, some were talking, and some of them were even crowding around Dugu Li, congratulating him. Dugu Li had an extremely high status. He was close to becoming a 2-star Azura, and now that he passed the hunter game, his reputation had risen even further. Just now, a Silver Snow Guard had spoken privately with Dugu Li. For this sort of situation to appear, that likely meant that the City of Discord's City Lord had extended an offer towards Dugu Li. Because of Dugu Li's performance, the City Lord wanted him to enter the Silver Snow Corps. Once Dugu Li became a direct subordinate of the City Lord, then he would be able to receive a salary of origin energy runes every year. This was a wealth that many people were envious of. Moreover, those from the Silver Snow Guard would be given a free residence within the City of Discord. As long as they didn't betray the City Lord or didn't accidentally die somewhere, this residence would be theirs for the rest of their lives. This was a level of treatment that many people could only long for in their dreams. Haha, congratulations Brother Dugu Li, it seems you will become a Silver Snow Guard soon. Brother Dugu Li, when you enter the City Lord Mansion in the future you must live well. Eat delicious food, drink great wine, and make sure to look after this little brother. Many people who were acquaintances of Dugu Li began flattering him en masse. Today, Dugu Li was undoubtedly the hero. As for those other trial challengers that entered the hunter game, such as the Black Iron Ghosts, they were only a small entertaining interlude. People looked towards them for some lively fun, but the true attention wasn't on them. However, no one thought that at this time, the portal leading to the hunter game would suddenly wildly fluctuate. Millimeter? Are some people coming out? How could it be so quick? Not even an incense stick of time has passed since they entered and yet someone's been eliminated. Originally, many people didn't have much faith in the martial artists that entered the trial. Wanting to pass the checkpoint of the hunter game was simply far too hard. Now, there was someone that came out in less than an incense stick of time. That absolutely meant that they were eliminated. Wanting to pass the trial would normally take 14 to 16 hours. Who is it? Is it that human boy with the lowest cultivation? That is just too sad. It might not be him. Sometimes, strength matters less than luck does. There are those that immediately run into some difficult beast as soon as they enter the game world, or they might have their skull badges taken away by another trial challenger and then be directly eliminated. Everyone looked towards the portal. Lights flashed from within the portal, then, someone's figure was shot out. This person fell straight to the floor like a dead dog, even tumbling for several hundred feet as they left a trail of blood. The Silver Snow Guard's figure flashed and he appeared right in front of this person. As soon as the person stopped tumbling, everyone's eyes fixed onto them. This person's entire body was wet with blood, their hair was a mess, a large hole was in their chest, and their organs were a utter mess. This is too miserable. In the City of Discord, there were deaths occurring all day long. The martial artists present had already been long accustomed to these sights, so they weren't surprised at all. But, after seeing someone enter the hunter game in high spirits and with a smug expression, and then seeing them suddenly end up like this, the visual impact of it was very large. His clothes are tatters and blood is covering his face. Even his hair is matted with blood. Just who is he? Could he be that divine transformation realm human? I recognize him. He's the Black Iron Ghost Triad's third brother. It really is the Black Iron third brother. How could it be him? He's hanging on to a single breath of life, but all of his meridians have shattered and he's been utterly crippled. A martial artist said after walking up to check on the Black Iron third brother's current state. Looking at the Black Iron third brother's chest, one could see a massive hole had been pierced through it and the surrounding flesh and skin had been twisted. This was enough to reveal the terrifying strength behind this strike. It could be imagined that when the Black Iron third brother had been struck, this attack had ripped through his protective astral essence and mortal body like wet paper without any resistance at all. Out of the dozen some people that entered, there were indeed some strong individuals amongst them. However, none of them were strong enough to accomplish this and leave such heavy wounds. It was hard to imagine just what happened. It isn't a beast attack, it is definitely another trial challenger. A beast wouldn't break someone's meridians like this. Someone judged based on the attack technique. Everyone looked at each other in confusion, not sure what was happening. But at this time, the light of the portal flashed again and a second person was ejected. Someone else is coming out. Everyone looked over. This second person was in an even more pathetic state than the Black Iron third child. It was like someone had pulled out his spine. This person collapsed on the floor in a puddle as if they were made of liquid meat. What a cruel and ruthless technique. His entire spine has been shattered. This person is Millimeter, the Black Iron boss. First it was the Black Iron third brother and now it is the boss. Could it be that the Black Iron Ghost Triad offended someone so they were purposefully targeted? The Black Iron boss was already left in such a horrible state with a single strike. The difference in strength was far too great. This other party was truly ruthless. They had the intention of crippling him from the start. Chapter 1438. Clear out the trash. Chapter 1438. Clear out the trash. These two have been crippled. The one who did this used some sort of specialized martial skill to break all their meridians and vital points. Even if they have top medicines, it will be impossible for them to recover from this. As everyone was speaking, the portal flashed again and another person was sent tumbling out. This was the most miserable-looking person so far. His entire body was dried up like he had aged to the end of his years. His hair was as thin and sparse as weeds and all of his blood vitality was sucked out. Another one. Could this be the Black Iron Ghost Triad's second brother? Yes, it seems it's him. The Black Iron Ghost Triad brothers had each come out looking worse than the last. The Black Iron second brother's entire body was a mess and he seemed as if he would die at any moment. There was only a tiny bit of astral essence in his body that was barely maintaining his life. The Black Iron second brother tried to use the Saint Demon disintegration art to perish together with his enemy, but for some unknown reason his technique failed and he was the one ruined instead. This is too tragic. Someone must have been targeting the Black Iron Ghost Triad and was likely their personal enemy. This enemy was too strong for them and no matter if they tried to escape or if they tried a suicide attack, nothing they attempted worked. The Black Iron Ghost Triad has made far too many enemies but they wouldn't be stupid enough to offend someone so strong. Just who could it be? As everyone was wondering, the portal flashed for a fourth time. There was still someone else. Everyone looked towards the portal in surprise. The trial had only begun a short time ago and yet people were already being eliminated one after another. At this time, there was no blood splashing on the floor. The martial artist who was ejected from the portal wasn't seriously injured. He was still able to walk and had a little bit of combat strength left. But after seeing who this person was, everyone was shocked speechless. This person was the only Azura in the dozen-some trial challengers. The one-star Azura, Viper. He came from a sect of assassins and his nickname in the City of Discord was Viper. This was because he was similar to a viper in his actions. When he decided to kill someone, he would first hide from his prey and then make a fatal strike at the most opportune time. Even those that were stronger than he weren't willing to needlessly provoke him because no one wanted to be targeted every day and have to be vigilant against ambushes at all times. But this person was actually eliminated from the trial in less than 2 incense sticks of time. Viper, you. Dugu Li felt this all too unbelievable. Who defeated you? That green-furred monster martial artist called Viper took a deep breath. He seemed as if he didn't want to speak about what happened, but after a moment of silence he said, "It was that divine transformation realm human youth. Under his hands, I wasn't even able to last for 5 moves. If he didn't show mercy towards me, then perhaps I would have suffered the same fate as the Black Iron Ghost Triad. Human youth, that divine transformation realm human youth?" Dugu Li was left dumbfounded. He couldn't believe his own ears. A bit after Viper said these words, he turned around and strode out of Black God Fort without saying a single word more. Everyone who was left behind had their mouths dropped open, not closing for a long time. They never thought that 4 people would be continuously defeated in such a short period of time. And, the one who did so was only a middle divine transformation martial artist, the most improbable fellow of all. At this time, in the dimensional realm where the hunter game was being held, 3 martial artists were floating beneath the grey and dimly lit skies. Strong winds howled through the world, carrying along the roars of wild beasts. Of these 3 martial artists, one was Lin Ming and the other 2 were the couple that had taken him for prey earlier and had wanted to take his skull badge. Currently, the couple had an extremely ugly expression on their faces, unsightly to the extreme. Although they hadn't planned on passing the checkpoint this time, they still thought they could experience the hunter game and be better prepared for next time. However, they didn't imagine they would run into this dark star known as Lin Ming, causing them to be eliminated at the very start of the game. Now, those 200,000 origin energy runes were basically wasted. "Do you want to fight, or will you withdraw yourself?" Lin Ming calmly said. His voice exuded a great pressure on the couple. "Che, you are ruthless enough." The man unwillingly tossed his spatial ring with the skull badge towards Lin Ming. His wife bit her lips and also followed suit. Like this, the total number of skull badges they had was 0. After a brief moment, this couple was directly sent out from the dimensional realm and eliminated from the game. 7. Lin Ming whispered as he received the skull badges in his hand. He was 93 away from reaching his goal. As Lin Ming chased the couple, he had seen a great number of beasts beneath him that were considered the prey of this hunter game. Although these prey were extremely weak, he didn't doubt that they would grow increasingly strong as he gathered more skull badges. There is still that monster youth as well as an imp martial artist. Their position is still within my control. Lin Ming closed his eyes. Then, his figure flashed as he flew dozens of miles away. This rapid flight caused a dreadful sonic boom to follow him. The tall grass beneath him was crushed by this tremendous pressure. 8. Lin Ming's eyes flashed with a cold light and he extracted the Phoenix Blood Spear. Just 10 miles away from him was a white-clothed monster youth, Charming. Charming already knew that Lin Ming would reach him sooner or later. He grasped a 4-foot-long sword, waiting for Lin Ming to come. "You don't plan on giving up?" Lin Ming was a bit surprised. Facing his overwhelming killing intent, this Charming was still releasing a powerful fighting spirit. "If I don't fight you, then how can I be willing to give up?" Demon subduing killing array. The monster youth waved the long sword in his hands and a massive array formation appeared for several miles around him. He knew that Lin Ming had left a tracking mark in his body, thus he had prepared this array formation beforehand. This idea was quite good. Unfortunately, his opponent was Lin Ming. With a disparity of absolute strength dividing them, this array formation was meaningless. Grand Mist Space, break. The moment that Lin Ming rushed into the array formation, the aura of the Grand Mist Great Tao erupted from his body, wildly surging outwards. The star-heavy Grand Mist energy tore through the array formation's seals. Lin Ming pushed his way through. Rumble, rumble, rumble. With a horrifying explosion, the giant array formation's seals were shattered by Lin Ming. With the protection of the array formation, the monster youth fought with Lin Ming in a fierce battle. But even though he had the advantage of the battlefield, he was barely managing to keep up with Lin Ming's onslaught. After all, the array formation he laid down was far inferior to the profundity of the Grand Mist space. After exchanging 4 or 5 moves, the monster youth was struck by Lin Ming, causing his blood vitality to tumble and make the energy within his body feel as if it wanted to explode. And then, behind Lin Ming, the phantom of the heretical god tree appeared. The crazy power of thunder and fire fell down in torrents, completely tearing the array formation to shred. Heavenly Dao Judgment. Lin Ming's spear cut out, breaking through space. In this moment, the monster youth knew that he had lost. The difference in strength was far too great. This wasn't something that could be made up for with a hastily laid down array formation. He was originally confident that he could pass this trial during his first attempt, but now, he wasn't even able to see the shadow of a second skull badge. After being targeted by this dark star Lin Ming, he had been eliminated from the trial. Who? In Black God Fort, the light of the transmission array portal flashed once more. A dejected-looking monster youth left the transmission array. Although he wasn't injured heavily, his self-confidence had come under tremendous attack. Lin Ming was far stronger than him and much younger than him. There was no comparing their talent. As the gathered martial artists saw the monster youth emerge, they were left flabbergasted. Whether it was the crippled Black Iron Ghost triad that were on the verge of death or the only one-star Azura, Viper, all of them were more noticeable than this monster youth. And after that monster youth came out, another person was eliminated in less than half an incense stick of time. Like this, when the Black Iron Ghost triad, Viper, and the couple were added together, there were now 8 trial challengers that had been eliminated from the Hunter game. In other words, within the Hunter game, besides Lin Ming himself, there were only 2 or 3 people left. The game had only begun a quarter hour ago and just a bit more than 2 hours had passed in the game world. Yet during this time, 8 people had been eliminated. This rate of elimination was far too terrifying. This boy cannot possibly be at the divine transformation realm. Someone said. Many martial artists of the Azura Road were limited by what they could see in their own world. They simply didn't know what levels of talent the peak genius of a race could achieve. He truly is at the divine transformation realm, Charming said, shaking his head like he didn't want to acknowledge this. It is because he is at the divine transformation realm that he decided to eliminate everyone else when the Hunter game started. That is because our existence there drags the game difficulty to a much higher degree and he doesn't have the confidence to complete it at such high difficulties. Of course, his goal might not just be the Blue Soul level checkpoint. As Charming spoke to here, the several martial artists around him were stunned. If his goal wasn't the Blue Soul level checkpoint, then, could it be the Zenith Black level checkpoint? Chapter 1439, Golden Armor Warrior Array. Chapter 1439, Golden Armor Warrior Array. 3/4 hours later, the several final trial challengers had also been eliminated from the trial by Lin Ming. Thus, in the Hunter game, there was only Lin Ming left. The martial artists outside all glanced at each other. Lin Ming's methods were truly as Charming had said. He had swept out all the other trial challengers in order to reduce the difficulty of the game so that he could pass it himself. This method seemed completely farcical because not only was every trial challenger who entered extremely strong, but finding them in the vast game world wasn't easy either. Yet Lin Ming had accomplished this, and his actions were neat and merciless. In just several hours of time, he had managed to complete all of this. His methods left one imagining just how he had accomplished them. At this time, in the game world, Lin Ming already had 15 skill badges. These skull badges had been taken from the other trial challengers. There were only 12 trial challengers to begin with, and the other 3 badges were from the prey that some other trial challengers had killed. Now, their hard work had benefited Lin Ming. It's time to hunt. This is when the true game begins. Lin Ming licked his lips. In this dimensional realm there were all sorts of creatures. By killing them he could obtain skull badges. He closed his eyes and let his sense spread outwards. Soon, he found the first prey. Lin Ming's figure flashed and he vanished from where he was, rapidly flying in a new direction. In just several breaths of time Lin Ming had flown several hundred miles. Then, He came to a halt. It's here. Right beneath Lin Ming was a swamp. The grass and waters were bright and calm, without any waves at all. Lin Ming fell down towards the surface of the swamp. Just when Lin Ming was 40 to 50 feet from the water's surface, the placid water surface suddenly exploded. A 100-foot-long alligator rushed out at an unbelievable speed, causing thousands of gins of water and mud to shoot up. The alligator's jaws were wide open, large enough to swallow a house. It bit down at Lin Ming. Catcher! The alligator's jaws snapped together, swallowing Lin Ming. However, before it could fully swallow Lin Ming, the alligator's head exploded. Its body split apart as blood rained down. A savage power of thunder and fire gushed out from the alligator's maw, instantly killing it. Lin Ming had used the Grand Mist Space to protect himself, and when he attacked with the thunder and fire laws, he hadn't been injured at all. A shining skull badge fell into Lin Ming's hand. This was the reward for hunting down the alligator. In this game world, there were only hunters and prey. Whoever was stronger was the hunter and whoever was weaker was the prey. These prey are really weak at the start. Lin Ming looked at the headless alligator corpse that was twitching beneath him. He flung out a fireball and burnt it to ashes. Soon, the headless alligator completely vanished, turning into a stream of pure energy that flowed into the swamp. So that's how it is. All of the beasts in this world are energy beings. They aren't illusions or material beings, but puppets made of energy. Perhaps the origin energy runes we paid to enter this trial are used to maintain the activation of the array formation. As Lin Ming was thinking like this, his figure flashed as he flew to the next prey. Under his incomparably powerful divine sense, none of these beasts could hide from his eyes. There wasn't a single prey that was able to contend with Lin Ming. Lin Ming's badge count slowly increased. From 10 to 20 to 30. 49. Lin Ming counted the badges. He hadn't encountered any difficulties in gathering this many badges so far. This is the 50th badge. Lin Ming looked at a giant lizard in front of him. This lizard was a tad more formidable than the monsters before, but it was essentially the same. It was easily cut down by Lin Ming. According to the rules, the difficulty of the hunter game was originally set to the cultivation of the strongest trial challenger. This was in order to test a trial challenger's talent and not their absolute strength. A lucky one-star Azura could already pass this checkpoint, let alone Lin Ming. After hunting down 50 prey, the strength of the prey rose to yet another level. They're getting stronger. The creatures grew increasingly strong. However, to Lin Ming, this difference was only killing them in 5 moves instead of 3. He still easily exterminated them. His number of badges had now reached 60. Another 2 hours later, he had reached 64. This is easy. Lin Ming took a brief rest as he readied himself to kill the 65th monster. If he continued at this speed, he would soon have killed 100 prey. However, he had a feeling that before he killed the final one, there would be some event that occurred. As Lin Ming was pondering this, the scenery around him suddenly changed. The power of space wildly flew around him, dizzying and mystifying. The grasslands vanished as Lin Ming suddenly arrived in a spacious wilderness. And at the same time, a pale red array formation appeared beneath Lin Ming's feet. The runes flickered and shimmered. These runes were similar to the most common god runes of the Azura Road. Millimeter. This is an array formation. As this thought flashed through Lin Ming's mind, there was a series of clanking sounds as golden-armored warriors began to appear in front of Lin Ming. These warriors wore thick suits of golden armor. Their faces could not be seen, but their aura was filled with a thick killing intent. Puppets. Lin Ming paused. He could feel that these golden-armored warriors were puppets formed from energy. They continued to emerge all around Lin Ming. Each warrior stepped atop an array symbol. In total, there were 36 warriors. 36 warriors. Lin Ming looked down at the skull badges in his hand. There were 64 badges, and with these 36 opponents that had appeared, that just happened to add up to 100. So that's how it is. Whether it was the previous prey or other trial challengers, all of them can only be considered an appetizer. No matter if I killed them with ease or with great difficulty, it still wouldn't affect the final result, because in this hunter game I was destined to meet these 36 golden armored warriors at the final checkpoint. No matter how many trial challengers enter this hunter game, the game will control the number of skull badges, making it so that only one person is able to face these last 36 golden armored warriors, otherwise it would have been impossible to collect 64 badges to begin with. This is the final battle here, Lin Ming thought. He began to sizzle with fighting spirit. If he could kill these 36 golden armored warriors, then he would be able to pass this trial perfectly. Lin Ming extracted the Phoenix Blood Spear, his entire body revolving with energy. He did not underestimate these new enemies. The divine god that created the Azura Road had reached an unimaginable level of martial arts cultivation. If this person were to establish a trial, then the conditions for passing it must be extremely high. Even though Lin Ming was considered the #1 talent of his race, he still wouldn't underestimate anything here. Millimeter. The runes that these golden armored warriors are standing on seem to correspond to the concept of the 33-layered heavens. But if so, how could the concept of the 33-layered heavens evolve into 36 positions? Chapter 1440, Gathering the Badges. Chapter 1440, Gathering the Badges. Lin Ming wasn't surprised to see the concept of the 33-layered heavens in the final pass of this hunter game. In his eyes, the concept of the 33-layered heavens represented the peak of the universe. Besides the divine realm there were 32 other heavens, but these heavens only stood on equal ground to the divine realm, not dominating it. The concept of the 33-layered heavens was also the highest supreme concept formed by gathering together essence, energy, and divine. The supreme being who created the Azura Road was absolutely someone who had reached the pinnacle of this aspect. But now, there were 36 golden-armored martial artists in front of Lin Ming, 3 more than he thought there would be. Even so, when everything added together it exuded an extremely harmonious feeling, as if nothing was out of balance. Who? A massive circular post-celestial Tao diagram appeared beneath the 36 golden-armored warriors. At the same time, an invisible force covered Lin Ming, surrounding him. This is a domain. Lin Ming's mind turned cold. This was not just a domain, it was an extremely high-rank domain. This domain consisted of 3 different kinds of power: spirit essence, true essence, and astral essence. These 3 powers perfectly fused with each other and flooded the surrounding space. At this time, the 36 golden-armored warriors split up into 3 groups, each group consisting of 12 of them. For each group of 12 there was a leader, with the other 11 standing in different positions around this person. Their positions each contained profound and wonderful truths that were difficult to explain. This array formation diagram is extremely skillful. This should be the first threshold in the Azura Road that has a sense of difficulty. During his time in the Azura Road, Lin Ming could feel that this world's checkpoints were divided into many, many ranks. A trial challenger had to complete these checkpoints one after another in order to fully complete this trial. In the last 100 million years, only the Saint's Good Fortune Saint Sun and the Spiritor's Young Genius Girl were able to surpass 80% in completing these checkpoints. And now, this trial challenger game in front of Lin Ming was definitely the first checkpoint that branched out from the previous difficulty. Lin Ming absolutely had to complete this in the most perfect manner he could. As Lin Ming was thinking this, the 36 golden-armored warriors began to move. They attacked together. With 12 people to a group, their attacks gathered into 3 torrential currents that flooded towards Lin Ming. Lin Ming revolved the energy within his body. The grand mist energy from his inner world flooded outwards. Grand mist space. Ha! A heavy and boundless aura covered the void. As those raging currents of energy entered the grand mist space, they were immediately weakened by the heavy grand mist energy. By the time these attacks reached Lin Ming, they had less than a third of their original strength. Basically, they weren't able to pose a threat to Lin Ming. Break. Spear light swept out. These 3 strengths were crushed by Lin Ming's azure spear light with overwhelming force. At the same time, Lin Ming stepped forwards, hurtling straight into one of the groups of golden-armored warriors. This group of golden-armored warriors were Essence Gathering System martial artists. Lin Ming was well aware of the balance within this grand array of 36 golden-armored warriors. As long as he could kill any one of these warriors, he would be able to break the perfection of the array formation and they would no longer be able to pose a threat to him. And of these three great cultivation systems, the one Lin Ming was most familiar with and the one that humanity excelled in the most was the essence-gathering system. Thus, he didn't fear that his opponent was skilled in the essence-gathering system. If his opponent used the laws, he could use his own laws to counter. Attacking the group of essence-gathering system warriors was the easiest as well as fastest route. As for the body transformation system warriors, their defensive ability was formidable. Even 3 rounds of attacks might not result in any true damage done to them. As for the soul-forging system warriors, there was no need to speak of them. Their mysterious and strange soul attacks held too many unknown variables for Lin Ming. The phantom of the heretical god tree appeared behind Lin Ming. The massive heretical god tree rose straight into the skies. The wild power of thunder and fire raged down it, pouring into Lin Ming's phoenix blood spear. For a time, a purple and red sun seemed to appear within the void. Lin Ming thrust his spear out and a divine light swept over the world. Lin Ming's attack was far too strong. Even though 12 golden-armored warriors united together, they still found it difficult to withstand the impact of this spear strike. Lin Ming's attack had disrupted their formation. Bang! The post-celestial array diagram beneath the 12 golden-armored warriors paled. A bright light cut through Lin Ming's eyes. This was his chance. Just as Lin Ming was about to attack them, the other 24 golden-armored warriors came hurtling towards him. If he were to turn to deal with them, then the brief advantage he gained from his attack just now would be loss. Lin Ming didn't plan to let his opponents have any time to recover. He shouted out loud, galvanizing the grand mist space to the peak. At the same time, he opened the 8 inner hidden gates, increasing his defensive power to the limit. He actually planned to forcefully resist the attacks of the 2 other groups of golden-armored warriors and then quickly exterminate the essence-gathering system group. If he could do this, then their array formation would be broken. Ka. 2 beams of energy fiercely collided with the grand mist space. This placed a great pressure on Lin Ming, but he didn't care at all. Instead, he thrust out his spear. 3 essences as one, eternal darkness. In that instant, essence, energy, and divine strength fused within Lin Ming. The phoenix blood spear emitted a clarion cry as an absolute dark black hole seed was shot out. A black hole seed could absorb all matter and energy. Now that Lin Ming was using the grand mist space to suppress the movements of the 12 golden-armored warriors in front of him, he could only use this strike. Bang! A horrifying explosion of energy rang out. The black hole seed caused a massive black vortex to appear. 2 golden-armored warriors were caught up in this vortex and were completely split up from the post-celestial Tao diagram beneath their feet. Then, their bodies were sucked into that twisting black vortex and torn into pieces, instantly dying. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 skull badges dropped into Lin Ming's hands. He took a deep breath. In that attack just now he had been forced to make a quick decision and as a result he had withstood the strikes of 2 other attacks, leaving him with some wounds. But to his powerful mortal body, this degree of injury wasn't anything at all. It's over. Now that 2 of the 36 golden-armored warriors were gone, the array formation was no longer in balance. The remaining golden-armored warriors were not Lin Ming's match. Everything else was simply a matter of time. Lin Ming suppressed the slightly restless energy and blood within himself. He grasped the phoenix blood spear and hurtled forwards like a tiger rushing into a flock of sheep. An essence-gathering system golden warrior bore the brunt of this attack and was sent flying away by Lin Ming, losing all contact with the post-celestial Tao diagram beneath him. The golden-armored warrior tried to use the space laws to return to his position in the array diagram, but Lin Ming's space laws were even more profound. In just a split second, he immediately teleported behind that golden-armored warrior and stabbed his spear through his chest, immediately killing him. Lin Ming didn't stop here. He swept out his spear and shattered the neck of a golden-armored warrior behind him. And at this time, other golden-armored warriors began to slowly encircle Lin Ming. However, now that they had lost the balance of their perfect array formation, they were like tigers without fangs in front of Lin Ming, unable to pose any threat. 2 more golden-armored warriors were exploded into pieces by Lin Ming's heavenly Tao judgment. The more warriors that died, the less pressure he faced and the faster he killed them. In a quarter hour, all 36 golden-armored warriors were annihilated by Lin Ming, turning into 36 skull badges that fell into his hands. Like this, he had perfectly finished this trial. It's done. 100 skull badges. According to the difficulty of this trial, Dragon Fang and Hang Kai should also be able to complete it. They would only need to spend some effort. Even for someone a bit weaker, they could also complete it with a bit of luck. As long as they kill one person, then everything would be much easier. Lin Ming appraised the difficulty of this trial. In order to finish it, one would need to be a top genius of their race. However, they didn't need to be the most extreme of geniuses. Now that it's over, I should leave. As Lin Ming was thinking of exiting, the space in front of him suddenly twisted. A series of god runes began to appear in front of him. Within Lin Ming's mind, a mental sound transmission spoke to him. You have shattered the golden-armored warriors within 300 breaths of time. Due to this, you may choose to participate in the second challenge or leave the world of the hunter game. Another challenge? Lin Ming was startled. He could challenge this trial a second time? That battle right now could be said to be very easy for Lin Ming. When he killed those 36 warriors, he had done it in less than 300 breaths of time. It had only taken around 8 or 9 breaths of time to kill each one of them. If he participated in the second challenge, just what would he win if he passed? Would it be additional rewards? What kind of rewards? According to the information he knew from the start, the Zenith Black level drawing he gained from having 100 skull badges was the highest reward available. Lin Ming was a bit puzzled, but without a doubt, his choice was to participate in the next challenge. After Lin Ming made his choice, the surrounding heaven and earth origin energy began to surge all around him. At the same time, a massive number of runes fell down from the clouds until they linked into a single stream. It was hard to estimate how many there were. Lin Ming took a closer look. These runes were origin energy runes, the currency of the Azura Road. Whether it was the fee to enter the hunter game trial or purchasing mission badges, one needed origin energy runes. And now, these origin energy runes tumbled down from the sky in a massive deluge and then burned in the air. Hoo. Brilliant flames burned. These were flames formed by heaven and earth origin energy. Every breath of time, over 1,000 origin energy runes were burnt up. The horrifying conflagration burned through the skies. There are so many origin energy runes being burned. It seems my previous guess was right. The origin energy runes that we pay are indeed used to maintain the revolution of the Azura Road's array formations. If this array formation burns so many of these runes, then it's hard to say just how powerful it will become. Without a doubt, the difficulty of the challenge would rise to an all-new level. Perhaps even Hang Kai and Dragon Fang wouldn't be able to complete this challenge. Is this a test aimed at extreme geniuses? I wonder whether or not the good fortune Saint Sun experienced this sort of challenge. What was his result? Lin Ming's lips curved up in a smile. The more difficult a challenge was, the more it caused his blood to boil over with fighting spirit. And at this time, in the outside world, only 2 to 4 hours had passed. In the past, martial artists would normally need 14 to 16 hours to gather the 50 mission badges needed for the Blue Soul level reward. However, in reaching the final checkpoint, Lin Ming had only used 2 to 4 hours. To have such a horrifying speed was because of his overwhelming strength and his sharp and powerful divine sense. Chapter 1441, Weakness. Chapter 1441, Weakness. 36 warriors appeared in front of Lin Ming once more. But this time, they were taller and larger, each of them around 10 feet high. Their golden armor was also a darker, mellower hue, and the strength percolating in their bodies had increased by several times. Their cultivation was similar to Lin Ming's, each of them equal to a middle divine transformation human martial artist. Not just that, But they had a solid foundation and their blood vitality was booming. If any one of them were chosen, they could have joined the Divine Realm First Martial Meeting and easily advanced into the top 20 spots of the finals. If these characters were alone, then Lin Ming could easily defeat them, even instantly kill them. But when 36 of them were gathered together to form a large battle array formation, their combat strength increased by many times over. This caused Lin Ming to feel that this situation was becoming increasingly tricky. Origin energy runes continued to cascade from the skies, burning down all around him. Then, suddenly, Lin Ming hurtled forwards, the phoenix blood spear in his hands thrusting outwards. He didn't wait for these 36 golden-armored warriors to suck up all the power from the burning origin energy runes. He immediately attacked, his target still the same essence-gathering system warriors. The phantom of the heretical god tree reappeared behind him. The power of thunder and fire wove together. This first attack was one of his killing moves, Heavenly Tao Judgment. Spear light split through the void, emitting a horrifying screeching sound. A roiling wave of thunder and fire rolled up all around him, swept around by his spear, forming a massive red and purple vortex as it shot towards a golden-armored warrior. This golden-armored warrior did not hurry at all. The array diagram beneath his feet began to spin as power poured into his body. At the same time, the 11 other golden-armored warriors behind him stepped forwards, their hands reaching towards the first golden-armored warrior's back as they pooled their strength together to resist Lin Ming's spear strike. Bang! A crazy collision rang out. The earth shook and cracked, causing countless stones to fly into the skies before they were dissolved into powder by the chaotic energy. By coordinating their strength, the 12 golden-armored warriors forcefully resisted Lin Ming's attack. As Lin Ming saw this, his mind turned cold. He didn't think it was strange that his Heavenly Tao Judgment wouldn't be able to break through the array formation. How could this second, stronger version be so easily broken? But for just 12 golden-armored warriors to resist his attack, this caused a deep sense of crisis to rise in Lin Ming's heart. Who? At this time, Lin Ming felt the wind behind him begin to howl, killing intent rising from all around him. The other two groups of golden-armored warriors attacked Lin Ming together. The array diagram sparkled beneath their feet as countless law runes spun around. Lin Ming grimaced. If he had to receive both of these attacks at once, then it would be extremely hard. The power of space distorted beneath his feet. He instantly used the space laws, wanting to teleport away from here. But at this time, a terrifying power covered him. Lin Ming felt the power of space around him be immediately locked down, rendering his space laws useless. What? Lin Ming was surprised. He immediately realized that this strength was the domain he had felt before. During the first battle, this domain had also existed. But it was completely suppressed by Lin Ming's Grand Mist space and was unable to be used. But during this second battle, this domain was far stronger than before. Even though Lin Ming was using the Grand Mist space, he still wasn't able to completely nullify it. In this critical moment, this domain had bound Lin Ming's ability to flee through space. Damn! Seeing two terrifying beams of strength hurtle towards him, Lin Ming grit his teeth and erupted his energy to the limit. The 8 inner gates were opened all at once and he used the Grand Mist space to protect his body. For a time, Lin Ming's body emitted an endless string of popping explosions as the phantom of an azure dragon materialized behind him. With a loud shout, Lin Ming smashed out with his spear, forcefully resisting these two attacks. Bang! The void shook, nearly collapsing. Even the star-heavy Grand Mist energy was torn apart by the terrifying energy. In the final moment, Lin Ming had used the Phoenix Blood Spear to defend against one attack. Then, he used a barrier of protective astral essence and his powerful body granted by the 8 inner hidden gates to withstand the other. Without any fancy collision, Lin Ming was sent flying hundreds of feet away. Blood tumbled within him, his armor was torn apart, and he was injured all over. What a strong attack! Lin Ming wiped the blood from the corners of his lips. By relying on his formidable mortal body, he had only received minor wounds in that strike just now. But if this were to continue, he simply wouldn't be a match for the 36 golden-armored warriors. These small wounds would slowly accumulate over time as his physical strength was exhausted. As for the golden-armored warriors and their array formation, the origin energy runes burning all around them would constantly supply them with additional energy. Perhaps they could never be exhausted. If he couldn't break through their formation, then no matter how tenacious Lin Ming was or how fast he restored himself, he still wouldn't be able to avoid defeat. This array formation must have a weakness. This thought flashed through Lin Ming's mind. His own heavenly Tao judgment had already been blocked by just one group of the golden-armored warriors. Lin Ming was confident that although his striking power might not be the absolute highest amongst all the top young geniuses of the various races, it was close to that level. If even his attacks didn't have any effect, just what could anyone else do? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 36 golden-armored warriors attacked once more. And at this time, Lin Ming didn't meet them in a head-on collision. He began to distance himself, relying on his speed to avoid them. As long as he didn't fall into their domain, then it wouldn't be a problem for him to use his space laws to avoid their attacks. Before he found out the method to break their array formation, Lin Ming didn't want to waste any more strength. Like this, the trial had turned into a protracted battle. And at this time, in the outside world, a full 4 hours had passed. Even if Lin Ming's final battle was in a deadlock, he still used far less time than the other martial artists had. Lin Ming wasn't in a hurry. As he dodged, he began to adjust his breathing and frequency at which he absorbed heaven and earth origin energy, reaching a balance between consumption and replenishment. Slowly, Lin Ming discovered that although these 36 golden-armored warriors belonged to the 3 great cultivation systems of essence, energy, and divine, there were still different cultivation methods used between all of them. Amongst the body transformation technique group, there was the saint race's body transformation technique, the 9 saint transformations, the human race's body transformation technique, the 9 stars of the Tao Palace, and also the monster race's body transformation technique, Nirvanic Rebirth. Although the 12 body transformation technique warriors each belonged to a different race, there were differences among each one of them. Their cultivation methods were each a single one of the concept of the 33 layered heavens. As for these puppets' attacks, they matched with the post-celestial Tao diagram beneath their feet, complementing each other in an impregnable and impeccable manner. What wonderful skills! To form this type of array, perhaps the one who did so was the Supreme Elder who created the Azura Road. They must have mastered 33 types of cultivation laws, or perhaps, it was 36 kind. Lin Ming focused his eyes on the leaders of the 3 groups of golden-armored warriors. His original assumption had been that the saints, humans, and spiriters were the strongest of the 3 great system, thus they had to be the leaders. But now, it seemed that he was wrong. The leader of the body transformation system warriors was not a saint, and the leader of the essence gathering system warriors was not a human. The 3 leaders among the 36 golden-armored warriors were an even purer form of energy than the rest. This was particularly true for the golden-armored warrior that led the soul-forging system group. Lin Ming could feel a familiar aura from him. It seemed as if this were millimeter. Lin Ming was shocked. This aura actually seemed similar to the magic cube. This thought flashed through Lin Ming's mind. Then, after several more breaths of time, he finally understood. The reason that the golden-armored warrior array formation was composed of 36 individuals and not 33 individuals was because not only did this array formation represent the foundation of the 33 layered heavens, but also the magic cube, demon bead, and the mysterious purple card that he had yet to hear any news about. Within the 33 layered heavens, essence, energy, and divine each corresponded to 11 different heavens. Moreover, there was a divine object that corresponded to them too. These were the magic cube, demon bead, and purple card. According to what Divine Dream had said, the magic cube, demon bead, and purple card each represented a single layered heaven, a universe unto itself. It was only that these divine objects had yet to evolve. They were considered universe seeds. If these 3 divine objects could evolve into a true universe, then there might be 36 layered heavens instead. This was the principle which this array formation came from. Thus, the 3 leading warriors of the 3 groups did not belong to any race, but were instead pure energy bodies. After realizing all of this and looking at the array formation of the 36 golden-armored warriors once more, Lin Ming suddenly had an inspiration. If he wasn't wrong, then even though these three leading warriors were the strongest points of the array formation, they were also where its weakness lay. As long as he could block these three warriors from interacting with the other 33 warriors, then Lin Ming would only need a single breath of time. After realizing this, Lin Ming's blood began to boil over with fighting spirit. After he dodged several continuous attacks, he then hurtled himself towards these three groups. This time, the one he targeted was the not Essence Gathering System group, but the Soul Forging group. This was also the group which resonated with the Magic Cube. Amongst the three groups of golden armored warriors, Lin Ming was most familiar with the Essence Gathering System. But in terms of only the leader, Lin Ming's familiarity with the Magic Cube had reached the same as his own flesh and blood. God-forbidding seal. In just a fraction of an instant, Lin Ming formed thousands of seals. The black hole seed was summoned by Lin Ming. The surrounding heaven and earth origin energy began to rush towards him, forming a dark grey vortex. Tens of thousands of God-forbidding seals began hurtling towards the 12 warriors of the Soul Forging system. Lin Ming no longer attacked the golden armored warriors themselves but the energy connections between them. He could already see that they were freely exchanging energy through the array diagram beneath their feet. As long as he could sunder this connection, he could instantly strike down the leader of the Soul Forging System warriors. Seal. The God-forbidding seals were in essence miniature black holes. They had the ability to swallow all and seal away all. For a time, countless energy routes were severed between the golden armored warriors, but these golden armored warriors clearly had some sort of wisdom. They seemed to understand Lin Ming's plan and began to immediately attack the God-forbidding seals, wanting to destroy them all. At the same time, the other two groups of golden armored warriors also attacked Lin Ming. Lin Ming ignored them all. From within his inner world, a grey stone door appeared. This stone door was originally the size of a book, but as it appeared it began to rapidly increase in size. Above the stone door, a series of mystical patterns and runes appeared, circulating all around it as if they contained the most ancient of secrets. This was the Primordius Gate. Suppression. Lin Ming shouted out loud. With a loud explosive sound, the massive Primordius Gate came slamming down, cutting off the energy connections and also resisting a great number of attacks. The attacks of the many golden armored warriors were originally extremely fierce and sharp. But as these attacks struck the Primordius Gate, they were like hail striking a steel plate, unable to do anything at all. At the same time, Lin Ming attacked. His target was the leader of the Soul Forging System warriors. Chapter 1442, Clearing the Trial. Chapter 1442, Clearing the Trial. Lin Ming's attack was deliberately and carefully planned. He poured in all of his strength, even opening the Gate of Life and burning his blood essence without hesitation. With the Gate of Life as a foundation, he could freely burn a part of his blood essence without permanent loss. However, this only lasted for a short period of time, and after he did this he wouldn't be able to use it for a long time afterwards, otherwise he would permanently damage himself. Thus, Lin Ming wouldn't use this move unless he had to. And now, Lin Ming had used this ability to allow his striking power to reach the limit. In order to achieve a one-shot kill, he only had one chance to attack. This was because he could feel that these golden armored warriors had a mind of their own. After one defeat, they would be on guard for his attack and wouldn't fall for it a second time. Ca. 7 or 8 energy channels were disrupted by the God-forbidding seals, and the Primordius Gate also blocked the attacks of the other two groups of golden armored warriors. Like this, the golden armored warrior leader in front of him fell into an isolated state, cut off from most others. There was less than a handful of other golden armored warriors that were able to help him. Beneath the golden armored warrior leader's helmet, a flash of cold brilliance shined from his eyes. With a howling sound, a viridian soul sword shot out from between his eyebrows. This soul sword seemed to consume a great deal of the golden armored warrior leader's strength. After bringing forth this soul sword, his eyes dimmed down to near darkness. At the same time, Lin Ming had already summoned the black hole seed from within his inner world. In that instant, All of the surrounding heaven and earth origin energy began crazily gathering towards this black hole seed. Even the origin energy runes that were providing power to the array formation were sucked into the black hole seed. Eternal darkness. Ka. The earth ruptured as countless rocks were swept up by wild waves of energy, shooting into the skies. This was the strongest attack Lin Ming could currently use. Underneath the impact of this tyrannical energy, the magic cube within Lin Ming's body began to faintly stir. After reaching the divine transformation realm, Lin Ming had gained the ability to partially activate the magic cube. Now, as he used eternal darkness, he also began to activate the magic cube's power. Lin Ming's target was the soul forging system warrior, and the magic cube was the ultimate nemesis of all souls and mind. The magic cube itself didn't appear, but the aura that belonged to it spread out, covering the 12 golden-armored warriors. The golden-armored warrior leader suddenly shook, and the soul sword that he had shot towards Lin Ming exploded into flashing shards before vanishing. Not just that, but the golden-armored warrior seemed to suffer some sort of massive backlash as the light that surrounded its body began to wildly fluctuate. Without the support of its fellow warriors, the golden-armored warrior leader was far weaker than Lin Ming, much less now that Lin Ming was also using the magic cue. "It's over," Lin Ming coldly shouted. The phoenix blood spear as well as the black hole seed came crashing down. Peng! With a loud explosion, the golden-armored warrior shattered into countless fragments. And these fragments were also swept up by the black hole seed, disappearing from sight. He had broken through. Lin Ming let out a long breath. Now that he had struck down that golden-armored warrior, it basically meant he had thoroughly won and completed this trial. Just as Lin Ming was about to follow up his attacks, he suddenly paused. After the black hole seed absorbed all those broken light fragments, those light fragments actually gathered together to form deep blue god runes that separated from the black hole seed, slowly spinning in the air. A black hole had infinite gravitational strength, it was even able to swallow light. At a black hole singularity, space and time also came to a terminal end. It could be said that the black hole laws dominated these laws. But these blue god runes calmly floated out from the black hole seed. This entire scene appeared simple and easy, as if the massive gravitational force of the black hole seed didn't even exist. This caused Lin Ming to suck in a cold breath of air. He had no idea what boundary the senior who created the Azura Road had reached, but even after billions of years or tens of billions of years, the god runes he casually left behind as a legacy actually contained such wonderful principles behind them. However, he had no time to probe these laws further. The battle had still not ended. Lin Ming revolved his strength to the limit, stimulating the magic cube once more as he attacked the soul forging system warriors. Now that they had lost their leader, the remaining 11 golden-armored warriors were in a state of disorganized chaos. At this time, the power of Lin Ming's burnt blood essence had yet to disappear. With the magic cube supporting him, he was like a tiger amongst a flock of sheep. The phoenix blood spear swept out as the black hole seed recklessly swallowed all energy. One by one, the golden-armored warriors were swept up in his attacks and shattered into fragments. These fragments of light slowly gathered, forming god runes. These god runes were all blue, meaning they were blue soul-level god runes. The second group of golden-armored warriors was much stronger than the first. Even though their array formation was torn apart, their individual strength couldn't be looked down upon. Lin Ming opened the 8 inner hidden gates once more. With the power of the black hole seed, he was able to engage in a fierce melee with them. He went on a complete offensive barrage, resisting the attacks of the other golden-armored warriors with his body. Every time he attacked, he would aim for their weakest point, instantly killing them. Less and less golden-armored warriors remained, and more god runes floated in the air. Most of the names of these god runes had a prefix, the 33 layered heavens. 33 layered heavens, 9 stars of the Tao Palace. 33 layered heavens, 9 divine shift. 33 layered heavens, nirvanic rebirth. 33 layered heavens, 9 revolution rebirth. Each concept condensed into a single rune. After Lin Ming killed off the remaining golden-armored warriors, all of them had become runes. There were a total of 36 runes. These 36 runes were all blue in color. They slowly floated in the air before dividing into two groups. One group had 33 runes, and one group had 3 runes. These two groups of runes began to fuse together in the sky, condensing into their final rune forms. And the center of these runes were a deep black-red color. In other words, they were zenith black runes. This was just like Soulwhite had said. When a complete set of runes combined together, they could sometimes rise to an even higher level. These two runes, without any indication, began to fall down towards Lin Ming. Whoosh! Whoosh! The runes entered Lin Ming's body without him resisting at all. He allowed it to freely occur. The moment that these runes fused into his flesh and blood, Lin Ming felt as if his soul was touched. Then, the complete information of these two god runes was transmitted to his mind. These two runes were respectively called the Protection of God and the Blessing of God. The former came about by fusing 33 runes together. This god rune could directly increase a martial artist's combat strength. As for the latter, its function was quite unique. It didn't increase one's combat strength, but its usefulness far surpassed the first god rune. This second god rune was used to increase the height of one's destiny. If one possessed it, then one could turn the dangers of mystic realms into fortunes, turning bad luck into good. This blessing of God. As Lin Ming realized what the use of this blessing of God was, his thoughts stirred. He had some faint associations in his mind. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.